Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Stewart pregame show presented by Meathead Movers, your student-athlete local mover. My name is Nick Federico, your play-by-play commentator for tonight's matchup. Alongside me, Justin Borses and Ryan Ketchum, your color commentators for tonight's matchup. Tonight's game will be taking place here at Griffin Stadium, home of the Moore Park Raiders, where they will play host to the Bakersfield Renegades. Now, gentlemen, as we come into this game, this has to be one of, if not the most, even matchups that we've seen all year. Moore Park come into this game just 1-7, and the Renegades 2-6, respectively. But it should be pointed out that the Renegades do come into this game, though 2-6, with 4 of those losses being just a one-score game. So, Ryan, we'll start with you first. What can we expect out of Bakersfield as they come into tonight's game?
So one of the things that you should be expecting is the run offense. They run it about 57% of the plays that they run, so it's going to be a high-powered rushing offense. You're going to see guys like Isaiah Martin. You're going to see guys like Shane Jones as well. Those are the 2 leading rushers for the Renegades. Isaiah Martin, he has 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. Both of them, however, have 2 lost fumbles on the season, so they got to make sure that they hold on to the football. On the defensive side of the field, though, they have some big guys, especially number 64, Mayfield as well. He actually has 4.5 sacks as well as 11 tackles for loss. So he's able to get in the backfield as well. So they're going to have to rely on that defensive line, and then they're going to have to rely on that rushing offense.
And that's a great point. As you talked about, Bakersfield, really known for their run game, is in fact 4 of their 8 games they've rushed for over 140 yards, a couple of them being 180 yards. And the other 4, though, it's kind of they're either on or they're not. The other 4 games, they had less than 65 rushing yards. So when the run game's on, it's on, but when it's not, it is definitely not there. Now, as we turn towards you, Justin, I want to talk a little bit about Moore Park College and their ups and downs they've had, their trials and tribulations. But ultimately, what are some positives that Moore Park can build off of and bring into tonight, maybe some key players?
Reese Smith has been one of the catalysts for their offensive success.
Sorry about that, folks. That was a national anthem. Definitely want to stop because of that. But, Justin, as you're saying, go ahead and continue with what you're talking about. You brought up Reese Smith, a phenomenal athlete. What can he really do for Moore Park?
So he's been one of the catalysts for the offense this season. He had 3 touchdowns last week. He's looking to be the lead wide receiver in this offense this week. Look for Johnson to target him in the passing attack. In terms of the rushing game, they're going to need to get a lot more out of their running backs. They only average a couple yards a carry, so that's something they're going to have to work on this game to help Johnson out in the passing game as well.
And great point. As you talked about the rushing game, yeah, Eddie Bat is one of the unsung heroes for the running game. He averages over 5 yards a carry per rush, so maybe potentially getting him the ball more, as you talked about, Justin. Now, final thoughts before we go ahead and cut to the game here. We kick off just underway. Ryan, what is your final thoughts on the overall outcome of this game? How Bakersfield and Moore Park are going to match up against each other?
Definitely Bakersfield and Moore Park match up pretty well. That high-powered rushing offense from Bakersfield, that's kind of a strength for Moore Park, at least with that rushing defense, able to have the defensive line getting in there. Then what you're going to be seeing is on the other side of the football with Moore Park trying to find an offensive identity. It seems like Isaiah Johnson has kind of been filling his rhythm. He's actually the leading rusher, as we were talking about, for Moore Park. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But if they try to get that rushing offense kind of going, you're going to have guys like number 64 is actually Holden Williams. You're going to have guys like that getting in the backfield and causing havoc. So it's going to be interesting. It seems like both teams matched up pretty well on that side.
Definitely. And Justin, for you?
Well, interestingly, Bakersfield 2 wins came on the road. They're 0-4 at home, so they may even have an edge in terms of that department, playing harder on the road, at least in terms of their wins and losses in that department. So look for them to come out and play hard. So Moore Park will have to be ready for that.
Yeah, and that is going to be a great point. As this is a very interesting matchup. In fact, 2 wins, as we talked about for Bakersfield, both on the road, as they are here tonight, and Moore Park's lone victory has been here at home, as they are here tonight. Now, the other thing I do want to point out is that when these teams do win, 3 wins combined between the 2 teams, they dominate their opponent. Moore Park defeated Glendale back in Week 3, 34-7, and the 2 victories they came with Bakersfield, they beat Santa Monica 42-6, and they also defeated Orange Coast 28-3. So, great points, gentlemen. With that, we're going to go ahead and thank you for tuning in. Don't go anywhere, as we will be right back after a few short breaks in action, and kickoff is just underway. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the kickoff just underway. That ball's going to go out of bounds there, as there was going to be a flag on the first play of the game.
Flags on the play.
First play of the game, Moore Park did receive in the first half, so that means that Bakersfield will receive to start the second half. Moore Park's defense will take the field first here. Correction. Bakersfield got the kickoff first today, so Moore Park will receive to start the second half, but there is a foul on the play.
Offside on the kicking team. Number 45. We have a personal foul. Blindside block on the receiving team. Number 84. We have a kick out of bounds. That penalty be declined. We'll have offsetting fouls. Replay.
So after all of that, we're going to pretend to start the game over again.
So there's going to be some offsetting penalties on that play, so they're going to go ahead and have another re-kick there. A couple of flags, blindside block by number 84 there for Bakersfield, for the Renegades there. That's coming from Luke Soto. And a penalty going against Moore Park as well. So those will offset penalties, so we're basically going to go ahead and get a fresh start with the game here.
Number 97, Mike Menchie is kicking off for the Raiders. Back in to receive, number 1, Adrian Rollo, and number 81, Malik Duluth.
It's a beautiful night here at Moore Park, California. Nice breeze, nothing too intense though that it's going to have any effect towards the game here. Moon shining bright here as we are all set to get ready for week 9 of this junior college football season. Paige Mokshian, the veteran kicker, number 97, to kick it off from the 35-yard line. Going to do a pooch kick down to the right side where it'll be fair caught there right at around the 37-yard line by the Renegades. Coming up with that catch, number 38 on the reception, Pedro Hernandez.
Look for Moore Park to come with a lot of
take over first and 10
quarterback
from the
passing
39-yard line.
They like to play aggressive. That's something they're going to need to do early in this game.
And remember that Bakersfield, they have the high-powered rushing offense, so you're going to watch out for Isaiah Martin and Shane Jones as well.
Bakersfield, pro set style, going to go ahead and hand it off to number 5, Isaiah Martin. Going to jump over a defender and pick up a gain of about 4 yards on the carry.
5'10", 202-pound running back, a sophomore in Bakersfield out of Garces High School. Pretty big guy, 202 pounds at that height.
It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 6 here for Bakersfield, once again in the pro set style. Wingle's going to go ahead and hand it off again, once again to the right side. To Martin, who's going to pick up just a gain of 3 on the play. And just want to go ahead and elaborate a little bit, Ryan, as you talked about this running game here really is either on or off. As we had talked about in the pregame show, 4 of their games have been over 140-yard rushing. The other, just 65 or less. So what is the key that they really need to look for tonight to establish the run game early against Moore Park?
So they need to be able to have good blocking. They need to make sure that they're able to open up those holes for Isaiah Martin and Shane Jones. And it seems like most of their runs are going to be going to the inside just through the tackles. So they're going to be having some just straight through their runs.
Winger's going to go ahead and hand it off to the left side. Spin move by Martin as he looks to be just at the marker there. Referees are going to go ahead and give him the first down there. That's going to move the chains just enough. And one weakness here for the Moore Park defense is allowing these 3rd down conversions. Justin, what are some crucial areas that Moore Park can fix to not let this happen tonight?
Well, penalties is a big thing. They're almost at 1,000 yards in penalties this season. They have 973 coming into the game.
Once again, another run play back to Martin. Again, that's the 4th consecutive run there as they have yet to throw the ball. There's going to be a flag there. It looks to be a little bit unnecessary roughness. There's some pushing there down by the 50-yard line.
And a lot of the penalties have actually been of an unnecessary variety, not just in terms of unnecessary roughness, but unsportsmanlike conduct penalties or things that come well after the play is finished. So something that Moore Park needs to clean up.
And see, those are the types of penalties that kind of makes coaches go crazy because that's just kind of attitude after a play or before a play. That's something that is controllable, I should say. Those are kind of some of those ones that you definitely want to be able to minimize because it's something that you actually can tangibly fix.
Another player to look out for tonight, Shane Jones, number 6. We have yet to see him on a handoff so far, but he is the number 2 leading rusher and the number 3 leading receiver. So without a doubt, it goes without saying he's a dual threat player. So look for number 6, Shane Jones.
Bit of a stoppage in play here. Not exactly sure what.
First and 25 for unnecessary roughness there, going against, I believe they called it on number 7. Would be
Victor Boggs.
Victor Boggs, but I don't see a number 7 out there.
I actually think it was, well, I'm not sure it would be on a wide receiver there.
Well, unnecessary roughness, of course, could be with any player.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's going to be a 2nd and 25, very long here. Look to see a pass for the first time tonight. As Wingo's going to roll out to his right side, throwing off his back foot. He's going to hit his receiver down there by the 40-yard line, but 50-yard line, pardon me, but did he maintain possession?
Was it low?
They're going to say it's incomplete, and that's going to be a 3rd down and 25.
So Bakersfield could look to play conservative with a run play, or in many of these situations when you have well behind the chains down, look for a screen pass in those kinds of scenarios, trying to get chunk plays back.
Wingo gets the snap, looking to his right, going to go ahead, hit the swing route there to his wide receiver, who breaks the tackle. That is Martin, pardon me. That's the running back there. Martin has been in on every single play here, has had the ball on every single play, -1 thus far. So making a statement for Moore Park that is the guy they're going to look to target all night.
And Peyton Shelton, one of the guys who's been one of the standout defensive players this season for the Raiders on that tackle. So
one of the things that's going to be very difficult for a passing offense to be able to form here for the Renegades is that their quarterback, Wingle, only has 49.5% completion percentage, so he has to be a little more accurate to be able to get drives with passing.
That punt's going to fall down there to about the 24-yard line. What's going to be fair caught there by number 84, Alex Sardi.
Fields the punt at his own 24-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over, 1st and 10.
Sardi's been featured in a lot of the punt returns this season. They may look to use him heavily tonight as well.
Now look, as we talked about in the pregame show, Justin, as you had mentioned, number 80, Reese Smith had 3 touchdowns on just 7 receptions last week. Look to see him have a game tonight. As Troy Smith, number 10, is going to take the field, first start of the year for him tonight. Look to see what he can do, as he is a dual threat quarterback. Going to go ahead and hands it off to Archibald, who takes a hit after just a gain of 2. Now, Brandon Archibald, someone that we weren't able to get to in the pregame show, has had a pretty phenomenal returning season, as he is just a couple yards shy of 300 with punt and kick returns on the year. He averages 25 yards per return, so deadly in the special teams game along with the running game.
And if Troy Smith remains in this game as the starting QB, the run game will be featured heavily tonight, as both he and the running backs will carry the load with their legs.
2nd down and 8 here. Troy Smith in the shotgun. Motions over Sardi. Fakes the handoff. Going to keep it himself. Design run plays. He's going to get more than a first. Shifty and able to pick up another gain of 10 on top of that. Nice gain of about 17 on the run. And as we talked about, that's something Troy Smith can do. You guys want to elaborate a little bit on the incredible dual threat you get within a quarterback like Troy Smith?
Yeah, definitely. Usually, well, what we've seen out of Isaiah Johnson, he could run the football, but he's a little bit stockier. He just kind of doesn't have designed runs. When you have a quarterback like Troy Smith, though, you get those design runs. He's quick. He's shifty. He could be able to get in open space and make defenders miss. So when you got a guy like that, you're going to be running the football to him most of the time, and that's what you're going to see a lot in this drive.
An early success on is able to pick up a first down there on the 2nd play of the game. Batar says he's going to go ahead and motion to the right side. He's going to hit him on the swing pass. Cuts back, has some space, and picks up a nice gain of 8. It's good to see with, the lack of success you could say that Moore Park's had this year, them putting in all sorts of different players, guys. I mean, we've seen Blake Batarse out there. We haven't seen him too much this year. Troy Smith, a couple of new faces out there. Eddie and Bata we actually see out there right now. What kind of aspect does that bring to a Bakersfield team that's been preparing all week for a team that they're not seeing tonight?
Well, they have to account for all types of plays because with Troy Smith in at QB, he can run and throw the football as we saw on that 17-yard pickup. So they're going to have to disguise their coverages on defense in order to account for that.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 3 here, 10:25 remaining in the first quarter. Tarsi's going to motion, going to come across the middle, slap, muffed, and it's going to be thrown at his feet.
Smith's pass is incomplete.
It's going to be incomplete. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 3. And, of course, that does happen pretty often. Whenever you see a low snap, the chemistry seems to be a little bit off with the pass game as well.
Batarse, a wide receiver that wasn't really showcased in the beginning of the season but got some light throughout the middle parts of the season. He's kind of gone down in the passes thrown towards him, but it seems like they're targeting Blake Batarse a lot tonight, as we also mentioned a guy like Reese Smith, who has had an incredible second half of the season.
Eddie Mbata in there as well, almost at the tight end position here as he's down there by the far side near the 50. Sardi's going to go ahead and motion off. Troy's going to keep it himself here as he's looking for space, but he's clobbered. Somehow spins, but he loses the balls, and it's picked up immediately. Great heads-up play right there, able to scoop it up, looking to try and get the scoop and score. Number 4 there for the Renegades, Justin Harrington on that one.
And that's the danger of letting Smith run freely. He wasn't able to protect the ball there. He was kind of lunging out at it and not able to secure it, and it led to the ball ending up on the ground.
And that's one thing you see out of a lot of dual threat quarterbacks. They'll kind of hold onto the ball lackadaisically with one hand, and he kind of did that right there. You got to be able to have those points of pressure to be able to secure the football, and he did not. So that ball was obviously going to come out.
So Wingo will come out for a second drive. Going to go ahead and fake the handoff, keep it himself. Pardon me. He's going to give that to number 5, Isaiah Martin. And that, just to clarify there, was not Wingo. That's number 10, first time we've seen him tonight. That's Larry Harrington.
And with Bakersfield starting in plus territory now, they can look to capitalize with points on this possession.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 8, 9:44 remaining in the first quarter here. Harrington's going to go ahead, keep it himself, design QB sneak, as he's going to pick up more than enough for the first down.
Looks like Harrington has a little bit of Troy Smith in him as we see the battle of the tens in the quarterback position. He's having design runs, so Moore Park, though, should probably be used to that a little bit from going up against Troy Smith in practice and be able to secure him. But that's what you're going to see a lot of the Renegades going for, that run style of offense as we're seeing right now.
Look to see what Bakersfield does. Number 5, Isaiah Martin, has to come out for one play while he's losing his helmet. Meanwhile, number 81, Malik Duluth, is going to come in at the wide receiver position. At the running back position, pardon me. Harrington gets a check call, gets a snap on a fresh set of downs. Looking for the option, isn't there. Great defense by Moore Park to read that. And he's going to be tackled for just a gain of 3. Nice heads-up play by Moore Park, able to read the entire option, have both guys covered up. It's going to be a 2nd down and 9.
As you mentioned, that was great containment there. They were able to not only go after the running back, but kind of keep people in containment just in case the quarterback gets to let loose. And obviously right there, they knew exactly where it was going to go. So great job by the Raiders defense, making sure that they hold them to a short gain.
So Harrington continues the second drive, as it does look that Bakersfield has a dual threat system between the quarterbacks. Harrington's going to go ahead and hit his receiver a little bit behind. That is Jones, who has more than enough for a first down there. Tackle there by Carlos Coates, number 45. One of the leading tacklers here for the defense and a captain for tonight's game as well.
And this is a big drive for this defense. When you come off a turnover like that, you want to make a defensive stand, not give up any points, at most 3 on a field goal. They're going to try and keep contained of this offense right now.
It's going to be a fresh set of downs here. Muff snap, he fumbles the ball, able to pick it back up. Just evades the shoelace tackles. He's able to turn a sack into a gain of 5. Nice wheels there by Harrington.
Pickup of 6 on the play brings up 2nd and 4.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 4 here. 7 minutes and 58 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Harrington going to go ahead and give it to Jones right up the middle before he's tackled on that one. Number 55 for the Moore Park Raiders coming up with that tackle, A.J. Reynoso.
Starting to target Jones in this game. He has about 243 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, and then actually, correction, 2 rushing touchdowns for him, and then he also has 2 receiving touchdowns as he has 13 receptions on the season.
It's going to be a third and very short as Martin's going to go ahead and get the ball for more than enough for that first down there. Once again, going back to their go-to guy, Isaiah Johnson, who has easily over 6 carries on tonight's game, and we have barely cracked into the first 7.5 minutes of this first quarter.
12-yard line will be 1st and 10 there.
And Bakersfield is trying to take a ton of time off the clock, a methodical pace.
Harrington once again back to Martin. Martin on the left side tries to cut it back. He's tackled by a multitude of Raiders there.
Martin on the carry again. Met by
Leading the tackle there, Daniel Henderson, number 44 on the play.
5 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 5.
So the Renegades building some momentum here as they're inside the 10-yard line. 2nd down and 5. Harrington's going to roll out to his right side looking for an open receiver here. Looks like he's going to take it himself, and he's going to hurdle but jump outside of the 3-yard line there. Harrington not want any unnecessary contact on that one.
With Harrington being in the quarterback position, this does give them another dynamic with a rushing quarterback as Braden Wingle, he actually has on the season listed -48 rushing yards. So
wow.
Definitely not adept at running the football off of 31 carries, so a lot of tackles for loss that he was a part of. But with Harrington, it seems like they're having that extra dynamic that they don't get with Wingle.
Well, and it was smart for him to run out of bounds and not take the unnecessary hit.
So Jones, their big man in the backfield here with the running back position. It's going to be a 3rd down and 1 ball here on the 3-yard line. Looking to just stick it right up the middle as Jones lowers his shoulder. And they say he crossed the plane. What a run by number 6, Shane Jones. Number 2 leading rushers we talked about. Number 3 leading receiver for this team. The dual threat in Shane Jones coming up with a huge play. 5:52 remaining here in the first quarter as the Renegades strike first, 6-0.
Winders in to attempt the extra point.
Bakersfield looking to attempt the extra point here. Harrington with the hold. And it's going to be good as they will go up 7-0.
And with 5:52 to play in the first quarter, it's Renegades 7, your Raiders 0.
Shane Jones coming up big there. Isaiah Martin taking most of the workload down inside the 3-yard line. And as a running back, guys, it's sometimes a little bit frustrating when you do all that work and they pull you out right before to give it to someone else. What are your thoughts on that? Sorry, I left you open. That was a closed-ended question right there.
No, you're good, Nick. But it kind of shows that that the Renegades, they could be able to go to whichever running back that they want, and they've displayed that both of them can have success on a drive like this. So that's definitely a good sight for the Renegades offense.
What I'm interested to see from Moorpark is, do they choose to leave Troy Smith in? Do we see Trey or Isaiah Johnson moving forward at quarterback?
Back to return, Eddie Mbata, someone we haven't seen back there too often. I don't think actually up to this point in the season, Eddie Mbata back there to return along with Brandon Archibald, number 25. And they are going to kick it deep, so one of these two are going to get the return. It looks to be Archibald, who averages 25 yards a carry. He's going to cut it right up the middle before he breaks a tackle, cuts back to his right side, down to the 25-yard line, lowers his shoulder, and he's going to get tackled down at the 33-yard line. Archibald, what a phenomenal run as he does time and time again. That run will put him over 300 yards on the year in returns.
And they're leaving Smith in the game. Again, he fumbled the ball on his first drive. They may look to have him pass more often here on this possession.
So 1st down and 10, ball here on the 33-yard line, 5:41 remaining here in the first quarter. Archibald is going to come out of the game. Looks to be wobbling a little bit. Hopefully he's not injured. Looks to be okay, pardon me. Correction. But in the shotgun formation, Smith, who's going to motion Batarse. Looking to his left side, hits Bata, but it's going to go in and out of the hands of Eddie Mbata there. Intended receiver. 2nd down and 10.
Bata, one of the better running backs for the Raiders. He kind of just gets the ball, goes straight up the middle. He has a lot of mass on him. He's strong, but doesn't look like he was able to catch that football. But Bata, you should see that he's going to be a strong part of this Raiders offense in their victories. In their victory, he has been able to get the ball the majority of the time. Also, when they were leading in the first half against El Camino, he had the ball a lot of the time. So that's kind of a way of success for the Raiders.
2nd and 10. Smith's going to go ahead and hand it to Bata, who's going to be stuffed to the line by the Renegades. Great defense by the entire defensive line in the Renegades.
No gain on the play, met by the entire defensive line.
As you had talked about, someone that was in on that tackle, number 64, Ryan, someone that you had talked about in the pregame show, who has 4.5 sacks on the year, leads the team, Holden Williams. What can you tell us about Holden Williams?
Yeah, so Holden Williams, he knows exactly how to get in the backfield as well. 11 tackles for loss. He just is able to hold down the defensive line for them. And if you have a guy like that, then you could be able to put the pressure on him, let him control the offensive line, and that's exactly what he did on that play.
It's 3rd and 10 here. Look for a pass from the Moore Park offense. Troy Smith rolling out to his left. He's going to throw it, but that's going to go clearly out of bounds there, as that's going to bring up a 4th down and 10. He took a shot on that play as well.
Smith took a hard hit. Good for him to get the ball out there. I'm not exactly sure if there was a miscommunication on the play. No real receiver in the area. Could have just been a throwaway to make sure they don't get an interception on that when he saw the pressure coming. It looked like he didn't see the guy coming up the middle.
And that miscommunication is pretty common among new quarterbacks that jump into a pretty veteran roster here for the Moore Park offense. But it is going to be a 4th and 10, a 3 and out there for the Raiders. Great defense by the Renegades as Higgs Mokshin back to punt for the first time tonight. It's going to be returned there at about the 35-yard line before he's tackled at the 50-yard line for the Renegades.
A short kick followed by a nice return, and Bakersfield will again be set up with great field position here.
Number 15 on the return, that being Cole Beatty.
They had their most successful drive, their last one, which is the second drive of the game. They had 2 first downs and then able to cap it off with that 3-yard rushing touchdown. Look for more of the same in this drive as they have number 10, Larry Harrington, coming back out as quarterback, the dual threat.
Harrington in the backfield alongside Jones, both having early success in tonight's game. They are going to start this drive on the 49-yard line. Harrington going to keep it himself, but tackled right there at the line of scrimmage. Defense for the Moore Park Raiders able to contain him without letting him pick up a nice gain. Just a gain of 1. .423 remaining in this first quarter here. Down here on the far side, number 1 on the 50-yard line, Adrian Rao. Harrington's going to roll out to his right side here, has some space, going to use his blocker for some help before he takes a shot before going down there. Just a gain of 4. Harrington definitely making it known early that he wants to run anytime he sees possible, but Moore Park's defense countering that by great containment and great discipline. It's going to be a 3rd down and 6.
Julio Diaz was in on that tackle as well to set up this 3rd down. Another one of those secondary standouts for the Raiders.
It's going to be a 3rd down and 6 there. On the field right now, tight end 88, Zach Hartsfield, number 15, Cole Beatley, and number 1, Adrian Rao in the skill player positions, along with Harrington and Martin in the backfield. Jones in the backfield. Feeling the pressure, Harrington's going to go ahead and roll out to his left side, breaks a tackle, rolling down by the 50-yard line, trying to cut it back. Doesn't see much room, and he's going to get clobbered by 3 or 4 Raiders right there. So he's going to lose 2 yards on the carry. Ivory Jackson in on that tackle, number 19, that D1 bounce back that we've talked about. Guys, Ivory Jackson have a more quiet year this year. What can he do in these last couple games, and how can he go about his play that can really potentially get him a D1 offer?
So what Ivory Jackson just needs to do is he needs to be able to have the containment. He usually comes off the edge. He needs to also be able to kind of just work on his movements, work on his patterns, work on kind of go from the power move, the swim move, making sure that he's able to get in the backfield, just working on those fundamentals and being able to learn those to be able to get out there at the quarterback.
Bakersfield going to punt for the 2nd time tonight, as that's going to fall down inside the 5-yard line, inside the 10-yard line. It's going to roll at about the 8-yard line. Rather nice punt there by number 83 in the Renegades, pinning the Moore Park Raider offense in a position I don't think they'd really like to be in, that being Duane Hartman, pardon me.
And the Raiders are going to have to come up with something. This is going to have to be a couple run plays, I would assume, to be able to get out of this hole, but they're going to be having to focus on their guy, Troy Smith. Troy Smith, that dual threat quarterback, as well as Archibald back in the game.
2:28 to start this drive for the Moore Park offense. Smith and Archibald in the backfield. Reese Smith down here at the near side. Sardi with the motion. Troy's going to keep it himself, but he's going to be tackled right away for a loss of 3.
And the thing that Smith will have a hard time with tonight is the fact that he hasn't gotten a lot of reps with the first team on offense. He's been a backup for most of the season, so learning a new scheme with players that you haven't signal called with before is a difficult task indeed.
I think it should be pointed out, too, star wide receiver Dylan Lee not playing tonight. That can definitely affect an offense. I mean, he's so dynamic and so dominant in his position. Without him tonight, Moore Park definitely might, be missing that skill level. With that being said, though, it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. But Tarse is going to motion across. Smith looking to keep it himself. Once again, it looks to be another desired run with a 5-wide spread, but only able to pick up 3 yards on the play. 3rd down and 7.
And what that tells me is that if they are going to pass, it's going to be short passes, maybe some inside slants, some out routes to the edge, to the corner, and screen passes. They wouldn't trust Smith in terms of a deep ball if they're going to run him this much.
And we can see him definitely let that deep ball go, but as you talked about, Justin, not very accurate and not enough attempts this year to really see that he has that promising capability that he can hit the deep ball. So, yes, slants are something to look for. Be a 3rd down and 7 here. Once again, Smith alone in the backfield, 4 wide. He's going to lose the ball. Is he able to pick it up? It looks to be they're going to mark him down there with forward progress at the 1-yard line. So lucky not to avoid the safety nor a scoop and score for a touchdown.
Dangerously close to a safety there. That muff snap, what you have to do is be able to try and calm down, stay within yourself, and control the situation as best you can. If at best, you would throw it away. Try not to take a sack in that area.
Inside 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Mokshin's going to go ahead and punt. It's going to be a shallow kick as it's only going to fall at a 35-yard line. Return here to the right side, inside the 20 with a spin move before he goes down at the 17-yard line. Once again, Cole Beatley on his 2nd return of the night.
Moore Park struggling on the offensive end, only 1 first down to this point, and 2 punts after fumbling the football on their first drive. Need to get something going, as you mentioned, Justin. If they're going for those short pass concepts, such as screen plays, you're going to be seeing a lot of Brandon Archibald alongside with Troy Smith, because Archibald has that speed and he's able to get to the outside. So kind of look for that, but the Raiders offense struggling in this early parts of the game.
That being Troy Smith's 2nd fumble of the night. So look to see if he gets a 3rd shot or if they go with someone else like Trey Johnson or Isaiah Johnson. But the Renegades will start with excellent field position, already in the red zone here at the 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Harrington once again getting the start. Martin's going to cut it right up the middle, and he's going to get 8 yards before he's even touched by a defender. Nice run by Martin on the carry. That might be the last play of the first quarter, as there is just 10 seconds remaining here. And the Renegades don't look to be in any sort of rush. Hear a little bit of urgency from the sideline as they know they're not going to be able to get this play off in time. And that's going to go ahead and finish the first quarter. While we have a quick break in action, we do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. We couldn't do without any of you. So thank you for making it all possible here for the Moore Park broadcast. And of course, Michael Grimes, Vance, Manicus, Vern Veg. So we couldn't do without any of you, along with the sponsors. So let's go ahead and thank a couple of you guys. Starting with U.S. Army. Go on a business trip with a company like no other. U.S. Army. Big Brand Tire and Service. Big on fast, big on friendly. Wells Fargo Bank. Wells Fargo is recommitting to help all of our customers succeed financially. Wells Fargo. Established in 1852, reestablished in 2018. UCLA Health, a proud sponsor for Moore Park College, with neighborhood offices in Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, and Westlake Village. The very best care is now closer to you. Gentlemen, I want to get your thoughts on the end of the first quarter, how both teams have been playing. It's been a rather even game besides that one early score by the Renegades. What can Moore Park improve on, and what can Bakersfield continue to dominate with?
Obviously, the turnovers have been the key story within the first quarter. Troy has to keep the ball in his arms, and he also has to make sure that the center can hear him correctly to know where to snap the ball. We've seen a couple of muff snaps early in this game.
And Ryan, quick thoughts from you?
Also with the Renegades, keep the rushing style of offense going, but both teams not really moving the ball too effectively. Only 3 first downs for Bakersfield. They had to punt the football as well on their previous drive, so it's going to be interesting to see what they could do, but they've kind of been blessed with good field position the whole game as well.
Right. I mean, this is already the 7th drive of the game in just one score. 7 total drive, just to clarify. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 3 here. Martin's going to get the ball. Once again, a hurdle, a defender, untouched before he lowers his shoulder. Incredible hurdle by Isaiah Martin. He hurdled number 27 for the Moore Park Raiders, that being Julio Diaz. Julio Diaz is listed at 6'1". Now, of course, he lowered his body to make the tackle, but still, that's got to be a 5'6", 5'7" amount, 5'6", 5'7" feet in the air that he was able to hurdle. So incredible performance there by Martin. It's going to be a 1st and goal on the 3-yard line. Martin once again going to dive across the plane. Does he have enough? They're going to mark him short, as that's going to be a 2nd and very short.
But going back real quickly, Martin going up for the hurdle. He's 5'10", 202 pounds, and he was jumping like a track athlete out there. I mean, it was pretty incredible. That was kind of Showtime play.
That was, and it definitely shows, as he's been the guy with over 8 rushing carries now on the game. They're going to go QB sneak right over the middle with Harrington. No signal yet. There's a touchdown. 2nd touchdown of the night for the Renegades. Harrington coming across the plane on that one as the Renegades jump to a 13-0 lead early on against the Moore Park Raiders.
And we haven't seen very many passes tonight. Clearly the rushing attack is the way to go for both teams. Harrington having more success to this point. 2-score game early. Raiders in a bit of a hole here.
So number 19 for the Renegades to attempt his 2nd PAT of the night. First one was more than enough. As that one was going to be
The kick is good.
good. And that was Paxton Winders on the kick for his 2nd PAT of the night. So Moore Park falling into an early slump. What are some things that they can readjust before having to fall down to this lead going into halftime? What is something that they can fix right now to go ahead and at least put up 3 points? Justin, I'll go ahead and start with you first.
Try to throw the football, to me, would be a key to success. You've tried the running game. We've seen flashes of it from Smith, but if you can get the short routes over the middle, it can open up your offense and give Bakersfield something else to look at.
And Ryan, for you.
And also for Moore Park, really anything that could be able to get you positive yards to be able to go and get a first down, because right now, every single time that they have to punt the football off, they're only getting about 30, 35-yard punts. They need to be able to put their defense in a good situation. So get something together that's going to be able to move them forward, maybe get a little Eddie and Bata right up the middle, just give it to them, see what that could do for you. Also, Archibald maybe on the outside, too, to be able to get some brewing.
Look to see who starts this next drive, as number 12, Vince James, was just warming up. But this will be returned by Archibald down there to the 13-yard line before he is tackled at the 25. Just a gain of 12 on that one.
Archibald on the carry. Tackled by number 41.
So Moore Park will come out for their 4th drive of the night. Unsuccessful on the first 3. 2 of those going for fumbles from number 10, Troy Smith. As Trey Johnson, number 17, will get his first series of the night. Trey Johnson, who had a pretty exceptional game 2 against Cerritos, where he threw 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. So he has that gunslinger capability. Moore Park will start their drive here on the 27. Starting motions across. Johnson's going to go deep right off the bat. Skinnier not able to turn his head around.
Skinnier just didn't look for the ball. He had the route. He just didn't turn around at an early enough point to go ahead and catch it. Clearly, for Trey Johnson, the reason he's in the game is to try and open up that passing game. He has the strongest arm between the 3 that we've seen. Vince James, we just said, was warming up, currently not in the game, but he's also a very accurate passer as well.
13:50 remaining here in the first half. Got a 5-wide set here. Johnson once again isolated in the shotgun. Sardi gets the ball, but it's going to be fumbled as Bakersfield's going to jump all over that.
Was that supposed to be a flea flicker?
I think
because
that
it looked like Sardi was trying to go back and pass it back to the quarterback.
That was true. It did look like he was going to go and pitch it back, but they didn't have the protection for it. They didn't kind of have that set up, as Sardi had guys right all over him. So it looked like that might have just been miscommunication and a fumble. It just kind of bounced off of Sardi there.
And furthermore, Johnson didn't even turn around to see if the football was coming back to him. So it looked like he was either running a route or trying to lay a block.
Number 58 there on the scoop for the Renegades being Christian Dunaz. So Bakersfield takes the field for their 5th drive of the night.
And they are also again in the red zone. So
So 3 of the first 4 drives for the Moore Park Raiders offense has been left with fumbles. Pardon me, I should reiterate that. 2 of the 4 drives have been lost to fumbles. There has been 3 fumbles on 4 of the drives. Just one of them, the second drive of the night, was just a regular 3-and-out. But a lot of inconsistency early on for the Raiders. They definitely need to switch it up. There has been a timeout called, actually, and you can see Mike Stewart talking to his players right now, probably trying to get their heads back in the game here, as he doesn't want to fall out of this game too early.
And part of the reason for that could be the fact that we haven't seen Isaiah Johnson in this game at all. He's been the signal caller for the majority of this season. We've seen Trey Johnson and Troy Smith, 2 quarterbacks that haven't had a lot of playing time.
And that's going to cause a lack of chemistry as well. That's why we're seeing kind of these muff snaps. We're seeing the fumbles.
So first down and 10, ball on the 14-yard line. Harrington once again getting the call to go in. Martin with a spin move, but tackled right after. Tackled down there by number 41 on the tackle for the Moore Park Raiders. Coming up, stopping that, Anthony Irwin. Now, as we talked about, when the run game's on, it's on, and when it's off, it's off. But the 2 key players are going to be able to stop that. It's going to have to be Daniel Henderson and Carlos Coates, as they are the interior linebackers here for the Moore Park Raiders. So far, Isaiah Martin, number 5 for the Bakersfield Renegades, has really had a go at it in the run game. Harrington gets the snap once again, is going to go ahead and pass it off to Martin, for he's jumped on by 2 to 3 Raiders with a gain of 6.
Martin has been the lead carrier in terms of rushing for the Renegades early in this one. Look to see if they're going to get some other running backs some time. You don't want to end up using his legs too much in terms of a heavy workload.
Down on the field there, number 55, A.J. Reynoso, looks to be in excruciating amount of pain. Hate to see that, especially the fact that he's a starter here for the Moore Park defense. Hopefully nothing too serious. But we do want to thank just a few more of our sponsors, starting with Pegasus Transit. We are the answer to your transportation needs. In-N-Out Burger, freshness you can taste. Simi Valley Auto Center, proud to sponsor Moore Park College Athletics. Shop Simi First, home of your local dealers, here to serve all your automotive needs. DCH Lexus of Oxnard, proudly supporting education and Moore Park College football. Lexus, experience amazing. It is great to see A.J. Reynoso is back on his feet. Hopefully not too serious of an injury. Look to maybe see him later on in the game. And with that, that's going to bring up a 3rd down in just 2. 13:03 remaining here in the first half. Harrington, once again, has been the man since second drive on at the quarterback position. And with his trusted running back, number 5, Isaiah Martin, by his right side. Motions his tight end across to the left side, so he has a little bit extra running room. Martin's going to go ahead and get the handoff, and Walton barely being touched before he crosses the plane. Going to go up 20-0 for the Renegades. What a run. Eric Mateo looks to be in a little bit of pain, number 2 for the Moore Park defense. Primarily plays defensive end.
And that run was, the catalyst for that run was the offensive line laying a couple of key blocks to allow Martin to get the edge for the touchdown.
Yes, that was great blocking by the offensive line, but also by a couple of receivers, including the tight end Luke Soto that had a lead block over here to the near side, setting that touchdown up. So great job by the blockers to be able to get Martin in the end zone.
Winders to attempt his 3rd PAT of the night. He is 2 for 2 on the night. Kick is up. And it's good. Low kick, though, but it is going to be good. He's 3 for 3 on the night.
Speaking about a low kick, I almost thought Moore Park jumped up and got that one. It looked like for a second almost went through a player's hands, it almost seemed like.
So 3 touchdowns for the Renegades, 3 different players. Of course, number 5, Martin. We also saw number 10, Harrington, and number 6, Jones. So spreading the ball.
And those 3 touchdowns, part of it has been the turnovers, but another catalyst for that has been the special teams unit for the Raiders. They've had some very short kicks, allowing for a lot of plus territory returns and good field position to start for the Renegades. So if they need to clean up the kicking game if they want to pin Bakersfield deep.
Winders getting ready to kick it off here. Deep to return. Number 25, Archibald. Number 6, Bada. Winders, nice booming kick. Going to fall at about the 10-yard line. Archibald once again with the return. Going to cut it out to his left side, but he's going to be smacked right there at the 20-yard line as the wedge wasn't able to form in enough time. A little bit of frustration there from Archibald.
You were mentioning, Justin, that the Bakersfield offense has been set up with some great field position, and literally they have had 5 possessions. They have had 3 touchdowns. Those 3 touchdowns coming from 6 yards, 1 yard, and then 3 yards away, and they only have 4 first downs in this game, and they're able to have 3 touchdowns within 6 yards of the end zone. So that just shows that they're getting great field position and knowing exactly what to do with it. So Moore Park needs to focus on actually getting a drive started, pushing themselves close to midfield at least, so that they could pin Bakersfield further back so they won't just be able to walk into the end zone, basically.
As we're waiting for their little bit of a clock delay here, they're trying to get the clock set to the right time. With that being said, though, I do want to mention, for the first time tonight, we do see number 22, Tyree Morrison, in the game. Had his first... They're going to reset the clock to 12:36. That it is 12:29 right now, so they're going to add a good old couple seconds back on there. 7 seconds to be exact. There's some quick math for you guys. But anyway, Tyree Morrison, as we talked about, number 22 into the game, had his first rushing touchdown, had 63 rushing yards on the game last week. So look to see if he can do some damage. As he's going to go ahead and get a snap, and right off the go, he's going to pick up a gain of 3, but he is stopped. Leading the tackle there, number 35 for the Renegades, coming through, seeing the run the entire way through, closing in on that gap. Anthony Villanueva.
Pickup of 4 on the play brings up 2nd and 6.
Correction, Villanueva. Reese Smith, along with Keonta Skinnier and Alex Sardi in the bunch formation here to the near side for the wide receivers. Johnson gets a snap, throws it deep. Intended target, Sardi. Is he in bounds? They're going to give him the catch. What an incredible throw and an even better catch. Alex Sardi getting his feet down. What precision. What a play. First big play for Moore Park tonight.
Alex Sardi says hello. I don't think we've seen that from him this year. What a catch. He's able to keep his feet in. Pinpoint accuracy on that throw in terms of the high point of the ball, hitting Sardi right in his hands.
And the height difference there going against number 11, Zach Hernandez, who's listed at 6 foot. Alex Sardi here, number 84, only listed at 5'7". So the fact that he was able to somehow out-jump his defender, you got to give a hats-off play to Sardi on that one. Cueva is going to motion back around the left side. Looks to the right, but checks down back to the right. Sardi once again, who's tackled by his own player. Don't see that too often. Number 74 for the Moore Park Raiders kind of getting involved in on that play. Alex Bloomberg.
Well, that first down, that previous first down, that was the first down that Moore Park had since their first drive of the game. So they went 3 and out in the second and third drive, and then they fumbled the football in the fourth drive and finally able to get a first down here. Maybe kind of a glimpse into the future if Moore Park is able to get a drive started.
So Bada and Batarse are going to come into the game. Morrison and Fuller are going to leave. 10:45 remaining here in the second quarter. Second down and 8. Johnson going deep. Looks to be serious missing communication.
And Smith is unhappy with that. He was running a deep crossing route over the middle, and Johnson threw it toward the sideline. So I believe Johnson was either looking for a vertical go route or maybe even a hitch and a go. But over the middle, in terms of Smith, clearly a miscommunication with the signals there.
Coming into the game, one of the first times this year we've seen him, number 16, DeAndre Smith, coming in for this drive here, as I just say, 3rd down and 8 on the far side of the field, down in between the 45-yard line. Cueva's motioned across, but there is going to be some whistles blown. Moore Park's going to call their second timeout. Pardon me, that's going to be their first charge timeout of the half.
I believe the other stoppage in play was because of an injury. So
that's correct. Thank you, Justin. While we have another break, let's thank a couple more of the sponsors. Drum roll. Starting off with International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Southern California Life Powered for 125 years. IBEW, local number 47, a proud sponsor of Moore Park College Raiders. DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. Corner Bakery Cafe, Simi Valley Town Center located. Proud to support the Moore Park College athletics, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering. Matera Design Consultant. For all your design, layout, and production needs, contact Vince Matera at vmateraearthlink.net. Matera Design Consultants. And with that, let's get right back into the game action here, as it's going to be a 3rd and 8. Johnson once again alone in the backfield, but does have Fuller to his left side for potentially extra support. Cuevas going to motion in front of him. Down there we have a bunch set to their left side. Feeling the pressure is going to have to dump it off to the design screen to Eddie and Bada, who has more than enough room and is going to pick up nice chunks of yards. Bada using his blockers to his advantage. Great run. First down, Raiders.
That's why they need to be able to get the ball to Bada. When they get to the ball to Bada, he is able to just push defenders off him. He's very strong. He's able to go straight through these defenders. So if you give him the football in the open field, just like that, if you get a blocker in front of him, he could be able to push it forward for another 10, 20 yards, more than another guy can.
First down, ball on the 28-yard line. Raiders looking to march inside the end zone here. DeAndre Smith, number 16 here on the shallow side. Cuevas, number 15, going to motion across. But Morrison's going to get the handoff tackled just after a gain of 2.
And just to piggyback off your point on Bada, Ryan, what's so unique about him in terms of his physicality is the fact that he's so strong and physical, but then can also create in space like we saw with that screen pass. So he's got a lot in his tool set to be able to use, something that Coach Stewart and the offensive staff are going to try and have for this game in terms of the weapons that they can use.
So bunch set to the left side. Handoff's going to go to the right to Morrison, but he's going to get tackled right away. Leading the charge there, number 11 for the Renegades, coming through and tackling Morrison before he could get his feet really moving, Zach Hernandez.
And Bakersfield is clearly packing the box. They are playing for the run for the majority of this game, trying to pressure as much as they can.
Moore Park's going to need another first down because I think this is a little bit too far outside their field goal range. It would be about a 44-yarder if they were forced to 4th down.
Look for 4-down territory here as well.
3rd down and 9. Sardi motion across the right side. Trey Johnson's going to take a step and throw it. Takes a shot. Did he hold on to the ball? He did hold on to the ball, but it is going to be short. Quite a few yards short as well.
There's a part of me that's perplexed by the play call, but the other side is that if they did decide to go to a 4-down territory, that's sort of a setup pass for the 4th down play in terms of getting a couple of extra yards to make it more manageable.
Yeah, it did seem like just get a couple more yards. This would be a 42-yard field goal, so as I mentioned, probably a little too far out of their reach right now.
And as you talked about, Justin, 4-down territory, I think they had that absolutely planned out in their head that they weren't trying to get the whole bag on that last play. But Johnson looking, feeling the pressure is going to roll up in the pocket, throw into the middle of the field, but incomplete, no receiver in sight on that one, as that's going to be a 4 and out.
The saving grace of that 4 and out is it is, interestingly enough, Bakersfield is starting on their own side of the field for one of the few times we've seen in this game.
Exactly, that's going to be a big advantage for the Moore Park defense. But going back to that last play, that's maybe a spot that you want a guy like Troy Smith in, be able to do something with his feet. As Johnson, he was barely able to get outside of the pocket when the pressure was coming. So a little bit interesting to see the quarterback dynamic that they go with for the Raiders.
But with 7 yards to go, that's a dicey situation.
Once again, Harrington looks like they're going to keep riding him out until he shows otherwise. Harrington, once again, with it another design QB run. Tackle there, coming up with a tackle on that one. The Moore Park secondary, 26, Dante Gibbons.
Looked like a little bit of miscommunication as Harrington was trying to hand it off or do a fake handoff to Martin, and they kind of went the same direction, as well as also Martin not actually going to the football as well to sell the fake. So a little miscommunication possibly there as well.
Extra protection here on the line here for Harrington. Tight ends on both sides, dual tight end set here up front. More than enough protection to give Harrington time to get rid of the ball or for a potential run, as we see right there. Jones going to be tackled behind the line, though, coming up with a great play. Ivory Johnson, number 19. Ivory Jackson, pardon me.
You know, it's interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, the both of you, but I don't know if Moore Park's defense has seen this many bodies on the offensive line in terms of a set in protecting the run.
I mean, yeah, that is a good point. You think about it, when we look at their statistics, they are a run-heavy offense, to be exact, as Ryan talked about, 57% of the time they run the ball. So they definitely like to add a little bit extra protection. Harrington looking to go deep with it as he has a wide-open receiver. Can he hold on to it? No. Moorpark coming away with a lucky break on that one.
And a late flag coming in there at the end. But Moorpark was very lucky on that play because a bust in coverage. They were playing tight to the receivers and got beat deep.
Adrian Rowell, the intended receiver on that play.
And this guy that we were talking about, using his feet a lot, he threw the football in the air for about 60 yards just right there. I mean, incredible arm that he had, and I don't think Moorpark was ready for the arm strength.
Unsportsmanlike, Moorpark, number 26, 15-yard penalty.
So they're going to say an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against number 26, Dante Gibbons. That's going to go ahead and add 15 yards, and it's going to be a fresh set of downs.
And see how much can change with just one penalty. That would have set up a 4th down and 12. They're in their own territory. Moorpark would have pretty good field position coming off of a punt, and now Bakersfield has a 1st down.
And if you're going to commit any of those kinds of penalties, certainly not advocating for it, but you want to do it away from the officials. if you saw at the end of the play,
that's the most authentic
the
analysis
flag came in,
hear.
And the official heard something right in front of him. So
yeah, you got to play smart. Jones once again is going to cut to the left side here before he's tackled down on that one by number 21, Peyton Shelton, another captain for tonight's game. Peyton Shelton, veteran here for the secondary.
Just as one of those guys that kind of has some dirty plays. He's kind of down in there in the trenches, maybe poking eyes and stuff.
That's right.
When nobody's watching.
All 5'2" of them.
I call it survival techniques, gentlemen.
There you
survival techniques.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 5, 6:06 remaining here in the first half. Harrington motioned his tight end across to his right side. Maybe a lead blocker, as it looks to be for Jones. He's going to lower his shoulder, Jones that is, picking up just 3 yards on the play. It's going to be a 3rd down and short for the Renegades.
Hey, and Ryan, I want to go back to your original point on the deep pass that we just saw. Part of the reason for that is because the quarterback has ran so many times, they won't see it coming because they expect a design QB run.
Exactly, especially a guy that we've seen this whole entire time. That's all he's done. So when he can let it loose for 60 yards, I mean, the defense definitely going to change after that.
So sticking with Jones in the running back position. Harrington going to give it to Jones once again. Lowers his shoulder, trucks a defender, and picks up more than enough for the 1st down. Dante Gibbons taking a shot on that one.
Jones, a very physical runner indeed, not afraid to get in the contact and drive his body through it.
A rather large running back, listed at 6'2", 212 pounds, and a sophomore. So you not only take that body frame, but you take that experience within Jones, and he's able to apply it here tonight as he has all night with a touchdown as well. Jones once again to the left side before he gets slammed by 3 defenders, leading that one, number 44, Daniel Henderson.
And this style of running, this could be able to wear out the Moorpark defense. You were mentioning 6'2", 212-pound running back in Shane Jones. He has more of that height advantage, and then you got a guy that's 5'10", 202 pounds, and Isaiah Martin has more of that size, at least with his height. So both these guys can be able to run it straight up the middle and kind of bully a defense.
4:27 remaining as this clock is winding down. Harrington rolling out to his right side, looking to find a receiver, has to cut back to his left side, looking to potentially take it himself, breaks one tackle, runs down to the 30, down to the 20 before he's shoved out at about the 22-yard line by Eric Mateo.
And it looked like Carlos Coates on that play kind of just stopped because when the quarterback turned the corner, he could have tried to keep contained. I mean, he had gained a lot of yards at that point, but all of a sudden, he burst upfield. It almost as if Coates thought that the quarterback was going to go out of bounds and then turned his shoulder.
And a little lucky for Moorpark as he had Rowell, number 1, that was wide open in the near sideline in the end zone.
So it's going to be a 1st down here, ball on the 24-yard line. There is a flag on the play, though.
Haven't seen that many penalties tonight to this point.
I only have that would be the 3rd one tonight. I could be incorrect. Actually, 4th one tonight, pardon me.
I believe there was one on the opening play of the game.
It is going to be a false start. That was the offsetting penalties, but the first play of the game, as you had talked about.
28-yard line will be first
false start, as we had just talked about right there. Going to bring it back another 5 yards. So it's going to be a first down and 15 ball. It's going to be placed at the 28-yard line. And it's Martin to the left side, but he loses his own balance as he just picks up 3 on that.
So far, this drive has showcased 3 first downs. Before they got their first down, that's where Moore Park was faced. They put them to a 4th down and 12, but then that penalty, which moved them forward. So a drive changing pretty quickly. Moore Park playing good defense, forcing that 4th down, but now giving up 3 straight first downs right after that. So Moore Park's going to have to pick it up on the defensive side.
2nd down and 14, as that last play was just a gain of 1. Harrington rolling around, feeling the pressure once again, rolling to his right side, being chased down, but he's going to cut it back, break a tackle, break another shoulder tackle before falling down. Gain of 6 on that play. Harrington, so dominant, especially when the pressure's on him. He, I think, goes without saying, one of the most difficult dual threats that Moore Park's played all year in the quarterback position. Moore Park does take a penalty as well, as that's going to be their 2nd charge timeout of the half. And with that, sponsor time. Starting with Los Robles Hospital. Los Robles Health System has been your source for your family's health care for more than 50 years. Award-winning, closer to home. Custom pie and board next door. Wood-only oven pizza, 17 craft beers on tap, wine by the glass, appetizers, pasta, salad, and more. Home with a Raider happy hour after each home football game, including tonight. Marketplace, official supplier of trophies, awards, gifts, and apparel for Moore Park's college athletics since 2007. Coca-Cola celebrates, helping athletes power through with Powerade. And with that, we're back to the action.
So the drum roll now kind of enunciating Powerade a little bit. You doing math problems out here too?
Hey, you got to have fun with the sponsors. We couldn't do without them. But reading the same list over and over, it definitely doesn't get boring. I enjoy it. But you got to find different ways to have fun with, sponsoring them. Once again, it's going to be a 3rd down and 9. Harrington's going to throw to his left side to Rowell before he's tackled by 2 Moore Park defenders led in that tackle. Daniel Henderson, number 44. That's going to bring up a 4th down. Curious to see what the Renegades do with it on this one. Moore Park's going to use their final timeout with 2:45 remaining in the game, so not unquestionable, just a little bit early potentially.
Well, they want to get the ball back and try and score before the end of the half, give themselves as much time as they can, considering the struggles they've had on offense today.
And what this will be about a 39-yard field goal, I believe, because the ball's at the 22. It goes back 7 yards, and then they'll be kicking it from the 29-yard line. So that's what they're looking at right now for the Renegades.
Great calculations right there
Thank you.
via Ryan's brain.
That's what we're doing out here.
39-yard, that's right. 39-yard field goal attempt here. It once again is going to be number 19, Winder. He's 3 for 3 on PATs tonight, but of course those are a lot closer than a 39-yard field goal attempt. 2:45 remaining here in the first half. Snap is down, kick is up, and it's good. The Renegades will extend their lead to 24-0. 24 unanswered points. Moore Park in desperate need to put some points on the board.
And it looks like he could have made that field goal from another 4 or 5 yards out. He had the leg for it.
Yeah, he definitely had a pretty strong leg. If Moore Park was able to kind of get him, they would have been able to kick a field goal on their previous drive as well, but instead of going for it.
Gentlemen, early on in this game here, I know we're about to wrap up the first half in a few short minutes, but what is something that Moore Park can try and implement before going into halftime to maybe come away with some momentum? Of course, I know you guys are going to talk about the scoring, but what way, let's be a little bit more specific, in what ways can they score? What are some of the bright spots that Moore Park has leverage on over Bakersfield?
Well, in being specific, in some ways it can be very simple. They need to get a running game going. They don't have – I mean, Troy Smith had a couple of brilliant runs early, but all of a sudden you make a quarterback change, you try to get the passing attack going. There's been some miscues with the penalties as well, and the fumbles, which have basically killed any drive that has tried to be started by this team.
And that's going to go ahead and be returned there out of the 1 yard line. He's going to be tackled down there at about the 17. On the return there, 29, Jacob Zamora.
They also have to get the snaps under control. We've seen a couple of low snaps that have resulted in either fumbles or backed up near their own 1 yard line on nearly a safety early in this game. So a lot of miscues to unfortunately choose from, but a lot they need to clean up.
They're still going to be sticking with Trey Johnson, so look for a more of a balanced type offense going to a passing game as well. But they need to build off of their previous drive. 2 first downs, they were able to march it inside enemy territory, and then they turned it over after a 4th down and 7. But kind of going based off of what they previously did, that's what they got to go back to.
So handoff right up the middle there. Tyree Morrison.
Tyree Morrison on the carry.
Carry for about 4. 2:26 remaining here in the first half.
The Raiders have no timeouts left, so they're going to need to go with a 2-minute offense, hurry up, some no huddle even maybe, because they don't have time to stop the clock.
They don't, exactly. No timeouts remaining here. They have to use the sideline to their advantage. Johnson's going to fire a bullet that's nearly intercepted in and out of the hands of number 4 for the Renegades, and you could see in his face he wants that one back.
Justin Harrington was
Dustin Harrington.
And Harrington actually picked up the fumble by Troy Smith in the first drive of the game. He got the fumble recovery, so him almost coming up with 2 big defensive plays in this game with forcing 2 turnovers, but Moorpark getting a lucky break.
The clock's going to stop at 2:03. Johnson's going to get the snap, fake a pitch, and then throw back to Reese Smith, who has some room, but ultimately is going to be stopped short of the first down.
And he didn't get out of bounds, which was a necessary thing to keep the clock at where it was. That's what that pass was designed for, in my opinion. I don't believe that they would throw that pass to drain the clock. And this is interesting. Bakersfield is taking a timeout. They want to score before the end of the half now.
Bakersfield, as you talked about, using their first timeout. Do want to mention this is probably, if not the fastest first half that we've ever covered. Game started, or at least was set for 6 o'clock for kickoff. It is 7:01 right now, and we're about to wrap up the first half. So a very quick and methodical first half. As far as we talked about, we've only seen really 4 flags, which is great, 4 to 5. So very clean first half, but a lot of running, of course, coming from Bakersfield.
And part of the reason it's been so quick is because we've only seen 4 flags. In the course
and running as well.
Yeah, and over the course of the 8 games we've seen this year, Moorpark has averaged close to almost at least 10 penalties a game, if not more. So that's part of the reason it's taken so long for the majority of the year.
And that's just on the Moorpark side as well.
That's
so
true. There was
having basically almost 10 penalties from both teams, or at least, a surplus of penalties, that's going to slow down the clock. And Nick mentioned the running style of offense. That's going to keep the clock rolling as well.
So 4th and 1, pretty crucial for Moorpark to come away with something out of this positive. Trying to go on a hard count, it looks like. They're not going to jump. Johnson with the quick punt. It's going to bounce down to about the 26, 25-yard line before it will be marked dead. So 1:34 remaining in the game. 2 timeouts for the Bakersfield Renegades. Having a lot of success in very few very few problems to go against, I guess, their early successes. Moorpark's really only stopped them a handful of times. They had a 3-and-out on the first drive, a 3-and-out on their third drive. Other than that, they've scored on 4 of their first 6 drives of the game as they come onto the field for, guess what, drive number 7.
And interestingly enough, with the 2 timeouts they have, they can take a couple of shots deep and try and score another touchdown before the end of the half.
Right, and you also got to think about if they're taking shots deep, as long as no one comes away with the ball, the clock's going to stop anyway.
Yes.
So Harrington, once again, hands it off, keeps it himself. Fakes the handoff, I should say. Tackled by number 44 on that one, Daniel Henderson. Henderson having quite a few tackles early on in the first half.
So far in this game, Bakersfield only punting the football twice as they had a score, a 3-yard rushing touchdown. They had a 1-yard rushing touchdown. They also had a 6-yard rushing touchdown, and then the 39-yard field goal. That's been their scoring plays.
And it doesn't look like Bakersfield wants to run up the score before the end of the half. They had a run, and they're taking time off the clock here. So
2nd and 7. Hands off to Martin. Spin move, but then tackled. 26 on that one. Gibbons, 26 for the Raiders.
Going off of that point you made, Justin, it is a little bit a little bit questionable that they're not trying to score as well, because they took a timeout after
Yeah.
Moore Park, couldn't convert on third
Why would
down.
you take a timeout if you weren't looking to put points on the board is the question we would all be asking. It's a bit perplexing.
Someone we haven't seen too much tonight, or at all rather, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, Mike Lowe, number 20 for the Moore Park Raiders, who leads the team in interceptions with 3, has yet to take a snap defensively. I cannot clarify that, but I have not seen personally Mike Lowe out there too much tonight, if at all. That looks to be the last play of the first half, as the clock is going to go ahead and wind down. We'll go ahead and wrap up our final sponsors real quick before I get your guys' final thoughts, starting with Jan's Marketplace. Cheers to a successful season, proudly supporting Moore Park College athletics. The Hat Restaurant and Simi since 1951. 68 years of serving the world's famous pastrami. Burgers, dogs, chilies. Open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Ladin Auto Group, featuring Subaru, family-owned and operated for 45 years, always closer to home. Located in the Thousand Oaks Mall. Ladin Subaru. Meathead Movers, who's actually your game sponsor for tonight and who we will be interviewing at halftime, Cody Johnson, so don't go anywhere for that. But don't settle for anything less than the best. Meathead Movers, proudly serving Ventura County since 2007. Stonefire Grill, where community is served. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, and catering. Proudly supporting Moore Park College athletics. College football is here. Celebrate with Chick-fil-A, located in the Sycamore Square in Simi Valley. And eat, drink, play at Dave & Buster's in Thousand Oaks. We got all that fun out of the way. Justin, final thoughts on the first half.
Well, for Bakersfield, there is actually, in my opinion, not much they really need to work on besides the fact they have to keep doing what they are already doing. In terms of Moore Park, as we said earlier, the snap troubles, there was a couple of penalties, but not too bad in that category, and getting a running game going is crucial, especially if you keep Trey Johnson in at quarterback.
And Ryan, final thoughts for you.
Yeah, what's going to be needed is a successful offensive drive for Moore Park. You need to put something together. They have had to punt the football. They actually punted the football 3 times in this game. They had 2 fumbles that they lost and then a turnover on down as well. So they need to be able to move the football forward. Only 3 first downs. So whether if that's keeping Trey Johnson in and doing some short, quick passes, if that's trying to go to Brandon Archibald, trying to get his speed, trying to go to Eddie and Bata, they need something to work for them, because this offensive struggles is not going to work in the second half if they want to be able to get back into this contest.
Right, and down 24-0, they definitely need something out of the bag to get them back into this contest. They will receive the second half, as Bakersfield did receive the first half, so they will get the ball to start the second half. But with that being said, we are about to go to our halftime interview, so don't go anywhere. Thank you for everyone for tuning in once again to the Moore Park Raider live stream. We will be back in just a few short minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Stewart Halftime Show presented by Meathead Movers. Alongside me, I have Cody Johnston, Operations Manager for Meathead Movers, of course. And, Cody, how are you doing tonight? Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you for being here tonight. We do appreciate your sponsorship. Now, I do want to, start off with some, easy questions here, but how are you liking the game tonight? How was the atmosphere?
A little lopsided.
It's a little lopsided.
It's competitive. It's a divisional game.
Right.
I'm enjoying myself for sure. I can see everyone else is. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great environment here. I mean, there's a lot of students, which is great, that come and support. Of course, there's family, but there's a lot of students that come support tonight's game. So, we talked a little bit before camera how there's a lot of students that have worked with you guys and do work with you guys for not only Moore Park and also for Bakersfield. So how has that been?
It's fantastic. It's great to see these younger guys coming in and really have a great work ethic. We've got
Right.
students, we've got athletes, we've got guys and girls even that are coming in to try to better themselves.
Right.
What Meathead Movers is about is trying to develop a relationship and advancing towards a career at some point. Strengthening leaders, communication, getting to a point in their life where they're successful.
Right.
It's fantastic.
I mean, that's a great point too. As Meathead Movers, there, you do so much more. I think that people have this cliche that it's just moving. I mean, can you elaborate a little bit more on all the different jobs that you guys do have for? Right.
Residential, local commercial jobs as well. There's so much more than that. Meathead Movers has been around for a really long time. We started in 1997. We have 5 branches company-wide now in the state of California. So really what we're trying to do is find an opportunity to supply a job or an employment status for individuals that are goal-driven and trying to find a leadership position in life. Got it. We'll give you this. Yeah. Okay, sorry, sir. No worries.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. As you talked about, I mean, it's so much more than just a job. I think that a lot of times people don't really understand that. But as you talked about, Meathead Movers, who's been a proud supporter of Moore Park College for many years now, you guys really do take these students and you teach them life tools. It's not just work, right? I mean, there's so much more to that. And as you talked about, so much more than just moving. There's so many different avenues that you talked about. Men and women who do work with you guys have really seen all those different aspects. So I think that's great. But as far as yourself, how many years have you been with Meathead Movers?
Yeah, I've been with the company since 2015, early 2015,
right.
A little over 4.5 years. I came in entry-level status as we're hiring, the moving position, made it known I wanted to advance in the company. That's also something we're doing is it's all about goals, right? And I made it known in my interview that I wanted to advance in the company.
Right.
And Meathead Movers has been spectacular with helping me get to that position. Right, so like I said, I've been there for about 4.5 years. Made it known in my interview I wanted to advance, and they've pushed me all along the way to make sure I'm in, as I am an operations manager now.
Right, and I mean, I think that's so great as you talk about. If you really put it out there, especially for Meathead Movers, they're a company just for everyone that's watching right now. If you are interested in doing any sort of moving or anything along the lines as Cody had talked about here, they can really get you to that next level. You talked about there's a lot of companies out there that you tell them that, and you sit at that bottom of the totem pole and you never really see yourself advance. But I feel like as you talked about, not only are you creating life goals and opportunities, but if you really are vocal about what you want out of this company in particular, they will do what they can to obviously move you up. And as you talked about, manager of operations, pretty awesome job, and the sky's the limit, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah, I pride myself on the morale that we have in there and networking opportunities. We make sure that you let your goal known, and we make sure that your goal is known. You tell us what it is. We want to make sure all 5 branches, all of our clients know. We want to advance you towards that position. Never becoming stagnant in what you're doing and moving. And it's not moving furniture. It's achieving a life goal and helping us help you achieve that life goal.
Definitely. And I do want to elaborate a little bit more. You said you have 5 locations. What 5 are exactly?
So we started in San Luis Obispo in 1997. We opened up in Camarillo, which we're now located at Oxnard, and we have one in Santa Ana, as well as Fresno. We just opened up one in 2018 in Bakersfield.
Okay, awesome. And that's great because it's very rare that you're able to see someone, a sponsor that knows both teams and actually works with both teams. I mean, we have people from Moore Park College and Bakersfield College. So just, we're going to wrap it up here, but final thoughts. What are some things that you can go ahead and tell the viewers at home why they should go ahead and, apply and give it a go for, Meathead Movers?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, it's a labor-intensive job. There's problem-solving solutions and trying to figure out, what we can do to make things better. We're moving items, obviously, but we're customer service oriented. We're looking for a way to establish leaders, developing individuals, if they're not a leader already, to help them get to that point. We don't just hire on employees that are just going to come in there and move furniture. We are the best of the best for a reason, whether that's internal accountability or individuals that are already leaders and want to advance in life. We're here to push you for that. We start at $15 an hour, and our drivers start at $20 an hour. It's our compensation is competitive. It's a military-inspired training opportunity. You know, what we're doing and training our guys and our girls to be the best of the best. It's fantastic. Like I said, I've been there 4.5 years. It's nothing like anything else I can compare it to, especially the outcome and when somebody reaches that goal. It's great.
Right, and I mean, I think that kind of goes full circle. I mean, someone that loves their job so much, and you can just see, just talking to you, you can see it's not fake, it's real, authentic, and like you talked about, it's just these life opportunities that you're not just moving, you're really doing something more. You're teaching yourself how to be a better man, be a better woman, to achieve higher goals. Right. So with that being said, Cody, I do want to thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. We thank all Meathead Movers and all of our viewers tonight for watching the game. Don't go anywhere. We have the second half coming up, so don't go anywhere. Once again, this has been the Mike Stewart Halftime Show presented by Meathead Movers. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second half here of the Moore Park Raider game against the Bakersfield Renegades. So far, Renegades lead 24-0. The second half is just underway, less than a minute here before the whistle blows, and we can go ahead and start the second half. But, gentlemen, first half has definitely been one-sided. What are some key adjustments that Moore Park can make to have a different outcome in the second half than they did in the first?
I will repeat this 3 times. Run game, run game, run game. That is what Moore Park needs to do to offset the passing attack. At this point, I'm not exactly sure who will be starting at quarterback. We've seen Troy Smith, we've seen Trey Johnson, Vince James is still on the sideline, suited up. Not exactly sure who will start. If they want to go with a passing attack, Trey has been the most accurate passer. He completed that deep throw to Alex Sardi, pinpointing at the sideline. So we'll see what they can do here in the second half.
And Ryan.
I'm expecting at least what they need to do is they need to be able to get a little bit Eddie Bada back into this game. At least he has been one of the better players this season, and they haven't really used him too much. Justin and I were actually talking off camera during halftime as well about a guy like Dupree Fuller. We haven't really seen him too much in these games. He's more of a blocking tight end that they've been using as number 1, but he has great ability when he gets the football in his hands, so maybe bring something like that back into the play. But right now, at least everything that Moore Park's been doing offensively is not working, so they need to switch it up. They need to be able to get Brandon Archibald out into wide open space. They need to give it to Edgy and Bada right up the middle. They need to be able to block as well for their quarterback, whether it's Johnson or whether it's Smith, but they need to be able to switch up the offensive game because 3 first downs is not going to cut it.
Yeah, 3 first downs definitely didn't cut it as they were scoreless, and we talked about all those fumbles that happened. Definitely got to learn how to hold on to that ball as well as we go into the second half. But corrections can be made, and we've seen Moore Park make some pretty outstanding second half adjustments earlier in this year. So let's see if they can do it tonight as kickoff is underway. Once again, to kickoff number 19 for the Renegades, Paxton Winders. Kick is going to be deep, but rather sharp as it's going to land right in the end zone, returned by Archibald, who takes it down inside the 10, crosses over, cuts back to the left side, down to the 15, down to the 20 before he's tackled out of bounds. There is a flag on the play, though. First flag of the second half. There was only 5 total flags in the first half, so already a little bit more of an aggressive second half.
I would have taken a knee in the end zone there because with a 24-0 deficit, you want to conserve every second. Even though it's 14-50, when you're backed up at the goal line, it also can create some indecision with the returner.
So you're saying that 10 seconds out of 30 minutes
yes.
will be
yes.
I've never heard that before.
I have seen games with 24-0 scores that have been decided because of those 10 seconds that might have been lost. So
all right, well, I like the analysis. So there is going to be a holding call against Moore Park. I think that what most people would think is that taking the knee is just smarter because it sets a better field position. But I also like the 10
with
all of
the
that.
time.
There was a holding call against Moore Park, so that's going to bring him back another 10 yards. Going against, they said, number 39 for Moore Park College, of course, that being Trevor Santos. So Moore Park starting here, right there, the ball on about the 10-yard line. Trey Johnson in the backfield will get to start the second half. Passes it off to Skinnier, who feels a blocker out before he is tackled. Leading the charge, though he didn't take him down, was number 31 for the Renegades. Coming down with that tackle, Connor Whitby.
And Skinner didn't let that block fully develop, sort of like pushing his man as he was trying to run into him. So not exactly sure if that's called developing a block on that play.
So second down and 11 as they're actually going to lose a yard on that play. Skill position players out there for the Moore Park Raiders, number 84, Alex Sardi, number 80, Reese Smith, number 15, Jordan Cuevas.
And you see Trey Johnson in a quarterback as well.
And Dupree Fuller at tight end, number 1. And Trey Johnson at QB, as Justin has just said. Going deep, Johnson throwing a dart, but just overthrown. Intended receiver, Reese Smith, who, of course, we talked about, had 3 touchdowns last week and leads the team in receiving touchdowns with 4.
If you could be able to get it to a guy like that, Reese Smith has showed that he could just get his hands on the football and do something with it. He kind of had a game that his come-out game was kind of Cerritos, and then he's been just getting more and more footballs thrown towards his way, and it's been really working for the Moore Park Raiders. But you need to be able to get it to him. You need to be able to have a consistent pass flow to him, be able to get things started.
So it's going to be a third down 11 here. Johnson fumbles a snap, but picks it up, throws it way out of bounds as it's caught by one of the coaches. But it was dropped by the coach, so that's going to be an incomplete out of bounds play.
And for the Raiders, I would have liked to have seen them play with a little bit more urgency on that drive. Despite a couple of incomplete passes, it was a very nonchalant kind of attack for me, personally, in my opinion. I would have liked to see some more purpose, some more effort, some more direction in terms of the plays they were running.
Back to return for Bakersfield, number 15, Cole Beatley. Has already had a couple returns on the night, all of them rather decent. Moore Park bringing in an extra defender here to give him a little bit more time to get the punt off. It's going to fall down to the 42-yard line. It's going to do a spin move, shoves the tackler off, but then dragged down by 3 of them. Leading the charge for that, the Moore Park Raiders, that being number 27 coming off that tackle, taking down Beatley, was Julio Diaz.
And you notice for the Bakersfield returners, they're playing shallow. They do not trust the fact that Moore Park's punting unit will pin them deep. So they are trusting that those punts will be short, giving them plus field position and plus territory moving forward.
Moore Park very familiar with punting in this game. They had 3 3-and-outs in the first half, which were half of their possessions, and doing the same in this second half. Something needs to change for them, but once again, plus territory for Bakersfield.
And Higgs Mokshin, talks about punting. He has over 1,100 yards punting on the year. Going to get smacked there, leading the charge for the Raiders. Coming across and blowing that up for Isaiah Martin, number 5, the carrier on that play. The Moore Park defense colliding, instant collision for a loss of 3.
That's going to leave a mark, a nice physical defensive play right there, something that the Raiders...
Already a sideline warning here for Moore Park.
Ivory Jackson was the one that met Martin in the backfield.
The tackle on that play going to number 19, Ivory Jackson. 13:32 remaining here in the second half. In the third quarter. Correction. Martin in the backfield. Harrington going to hand it off to Martin, who gets clipped right away. Clean tackle, though. Once again, Ivory Jackson back-to-back tackles.
Interesting to note, Troy Smith is again taking some passing attempts on the sideline here. Not sure if we will see him again in this game, but very interesting development.
You mentioned earlier on in the game, Nick, how is Ivory Jackson going to be able to finish off these last few games and be able to get some more college scouts looking at him? That's exactly what he needs to do. Fill the holes, know exactly where the ball's going, and he was able to work that perfectly and come up with 2 big tackles.
Harrington rolling out to his right side, blocker in Martin. Going to throw it and hit his receiver right before getting tackled out of bounds. That looks to be a clean catch. Do want to be noted, too, I don't know if our camera was able to pick it up or not, but Mike Stewart did just walk over to Troy Smith and said something to him, potentially, that he's going to get this next drive. We're not going to speculate, but, of course, he did say something acknowledging Troy Smith, who was warming up right there on the sideline. So look to see Troy Smith potentially get this next series when the Moore Park gets the ball again.
Also going back to that last play, Ivory Jackson actually put his hands up and got in the face of the quarterback before he threw the football. So 3 straight plays where Ivory Jackson was able to make some noise on the defensive side.
Alex Sardi, someone that we haven't seen with too many returns this year, is going to be the returner for this particular punt. As it's going to be a very shallow punt. It's going to fall down at about the 15-yard line. And it did touch a Moore Park Raider, so they all automatically had to jump on that ball because it did become a live ball. But Moore Park able to retain possession. And there's 11:53 as Moore Park starts its second drive.
And Moore Park, in terms of their special teams unit, they have to communicate with each other and tell the returners to stay away on punts like that. When you bottle up 5 or 6 guys, it creates an opportunity for the ball to hit someone, whether it be Bakersfield or Moore Park.
So as we speculated, Troy Smith will get the start for this series. Trips receivers to the right side. Actually 5 wide receivers. Smith motions the receiver across. He's going to go ahead and hand it off, that being Brandon Archibald, the little speedster. Takes a shot and fumbles it. And coming up on that scoop is going to be number 11 for the Renegades, Zach Hernandez. Wow.
And the Renegades are hunting for the football right now. They are locating that football, and Moore Park is doing a terrible job at securing it and staying tough with their runs. They're opening up their bodies so that the football can be shown to a point where it's very easily located by this defense.
And that's actually going to be the 4th fumble in the game, the 3rd that the Raiders have lost with Troy Smith, Alex Sardi, and now Brandon Archibald, each losing a fumble in this game.
So 1st and 10. Harrington with nice field position at the 28-yard line. Going deep right off the bat, has a receiver. Can he come down with it? He does! Touchdown Renegades. Number 15 on the reception, Cole Beatley, as this lead jumps 30-0 with 11:38 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Pinpoint pass right there. Perfect reception, high point of the ball, easy catch, easy score. .28 yards on that pass play.
So the 4th PAT try of the night for Winders. He is 3 for 3 thus far, and he now goes 4 for 4.
The kick is good, and with 11:38 to play in the
That touchdown was caught by Beatty, as we were mentioning. 17 receptions, 210 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Make that 2nd on the season after he caught that one with just above 12 yards per reception on the season.
With that being 31-0, no points for Moore Park thus far in the game. Time for some sponsors, gentlemen. Drum roll. And here we go. U.S. Army. Go on business trips with a company like no other. U.S. Army. Big Brand Tire and Service. Big on fast, big on friendly. Wells Fargo Bank. Wells Fargo recommitting to helping all of our customers succeed financially. Established in 1852. Reestablished in 2018. UCLA Health, a proud sponsor of Moore Park College Athletics, with neighborhood offices in Simi Valley, Porter Ranch, Thousand Oaks, Ventura, and Westlake Village. The very best care is now closer to you. UCLA Health, it begins with you. And with that being said, we're going to get right back into the action. Moore Park, ready to return. Archibald and Bata in the backfield. Renegades, ready to kick. Moore Park needs to find some sort of light for a potential major comeback. Plenty of time still to make that happen. Ball's going to fall down to the 5-yard line before Archibald receives it, looking for a hole. Doesn't see one, so he's going to take himself up the middle. No wedge. He's going to be tackled, but with forward progress, they should give him the ball, and they do at the 20-yard line. Moore Park will start their 3rd drive of the 2nd half.
Moore Park is going to have to do something here because literally they have more fumbles than they have first downs, and the same amount of fumbles lost as they do first downs in this game, so they can't put together a drive right now, but they need to get something started because this is getting down to the time that they need to do something. They need to put something together in the 3rd quarter.
And Ryan, it goes back to what you talked about in the pregame, which is identity. Quite frankly, with this team, there isn't one, and with all these fumbles and the inaccuracy in the passing game, they have no direction to go in at the moment.
So Troy Smith, motion Sardi, fakes it to Sardi, gives it to Smith. Reese Smith, who takes it up the middle at the 30, down and spin move to the 35. Another spin move before he's tackled down at the 39. One of the best plays we've seen by Moore Park all night. And as you talked about, Ryan, that's only their 4th first down of the game, correct?
Yes, 4th first down of the game, and I mentioned last time they threw the ball to Reese Smith. If you put the ball in his hands, he can do something with it. They were able to do that. This is their first down, this being their 9th drive of the game. First down since their 5th drive where they couldn't convert and had a turnover on downs off of 4th and 7.
So they're going to get another first down, ball at the 39-yard line, 5 wide. Troy Smith alone in the backfield. Gets the snap, looking to his right side, going to hit Sardi, but it's going to bounce off his hands. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
And one of the reasons for that sort of jet sweep is because when you struggle with the identity, you end up coming with some plays that you may not normally see in a game, trying to get some spark for this offense.
And also, meaning struggling with identity, I was just talking to Athletics Director Vance Mandicus not too long ago. Isaiah Johnson, he said, is out with an injury, so he was not able to play in this contest. So offensive identity, if you don't have your quarterback, you don't have your wide receiver playing, your stars, it's definitely going to affect your team.
So 2nd down and 10. Ball on the 39-yard line. Little bobble snap, but Smith's going to take it himself right up the middle. Spin move, and just enough for a first down. Troy Smith really taking the initiative to get the first down picked up on that play.
He has to be very careful again. He's not carrying the football with two hands right now.
One thing I should be pointing out, yes, should be careful as far as it goes with holding onto that ball. But coming into this game 1-7, with just 2 games left to go, Troy Smith not taking that many snaps himself, probably the number 3 quarterback, you could say, definitely is going to be as physical as possible when it comes to every opportunity he sees. He's going to do whatever he can, because that being said, we're going to go hand the ball off there to Tyree Morrison, pardon me, who took a shot. Wow, I think we felt that one up here in the booth, guys. Number 4 coming up with a rock, Justin Harrison. We've called his name quite a few times tonight. That young man has had a phenomenal game. But as I was saying, we'll get right back to that. You know, with just 2 games remaining, some of these guys, this is their last games, one of their last games they'll ever play with a football helmet. So, you know, they're going to cherish every moment and make the best of it. Troy Smith throwing is going to have a wide open receiver, but it's dropped. Intended receiver number 15, Jordan Cuevas.
Cuevas should have caught that, but part of the reason of the inaccurate throw, if you noticed, Smith kind of sidearmed it to the sideline. There wasn't a step in. There wasn't, you know, an extra spiral, a sort of a loft at the end, sort of weakly thrown to the edge. Maybe a lack, in some ways, maybe a lack of strength. It was one of those throws that was a little deeper than normal for Smith.
Right, and that's going to be a 3rd down and 5. A little bit of a strange throw, as you talked about, Justin, potentially why it was incomplete. But Bad is going to be motioned across. Bad is not going to get, he's going to fake it instead, throw down the middle to Blake Batarse, who has 1 man to beat, and he's going to drag it all the way in for a touchdown. Blake Batarse, touchdown Raiders.
And with Smith in at QB, that's what you look for him to do in the passing game. Those short middle slant routes, that's where he's more accurate in the middle of the field.
To me, I understand that there's a lot more that goes into coaching, but guys like Batarse, like Reese, I don't understand, Reese Smith, I don't understand why you don't just design plays to get them the ball more. Now, of course, we're not coaches, so we don't have that sort of knowledge, but it just seems pretty obvious that every time that they give Blake Batarse the ball or Reese Smith the ball or Eddie Mbata the ball, they have success, so why not build your offense around those guys?
And Batarse was able to show some incredible speed. That was a 45-yard passing touchdown there from Smith to Batarse.
So, Moore Park with their first points of the night. 9:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter, as it is 31-6 currently, and that's going to be blocked and picked up before it is tackled. So it is going to stay 31-6.
And one of those linemen on that kick missed a block somewhere, and it blew up the entire play before the snap was even conducted.
So while we have another break in action, let's thank a couple more of our sponsors. Starting with Pegasus Transit. We are the answer to your transportation needs. In-N-Out Burger, freshness you can taste. Simi Valley Auto Center, proud to sponsor Moore Park College Athletics. Shop Simi First, home of your local dealers, here to serve all your automotive needs. DCH Lexus of Oxnard, proudly sponsoring and supporting education and Moore Park College football. Lexus, experience amazing. And with that being said, it's time for some more football as the Moore Park Raiders take the field to kick it off deep to the Bakersfield Renegades. Current score 31-6.
If you're the Raiders on defense, you want to stop the run as quickly as possible, force Bakersfield into as many 3rd downs as you can over the next 20 minutes or so by game clock, and try and get the ball back to create as many possessions as possible.
And this could be a good chance for the Raiders' defense, as Bakersfield's going to have poor field position, most likely at least poor compared to what they usually have
within this game,
depending on the kick return.
It's going to be received down at about the 8-yard line before it's ran back. Rowell sees a hole, but he gets tackled, an arm tackle there by number 42, and the Moore Park Raiders able to stop him before he really got those wheels turning. That was Juan Mollett.
You know, it's interesting because I almost thought the receiver almost took a knee on that play. He was kneeling down. I'm not sure if you take a knee, if you can get right back up at the end, or if they will mark you there.
They're supposed to blow the whistle. As soon as your knee goes down, you're basically saying that the play's
blown dead. Yes.
Yeah, blown dead. So they're going to start with, though it's not how they usually start as far as the Renegades tonight in returns, they are going to still get some great field position starting at the 33-yard line. Nice run back by Adrian Rowell, number 1. Harrington, who's been the man all night besides the first drive, is going to go ahead and hand the ball off to Jones, who tries to step over his own player and then tackled by a couple of Moore Park Raiders. It's going to bring up second down.
And that's what we're talking about, the packing the box, trying to load up on the run, force this Bakersfield team to pass the football on third down and long situations, hopefully getting the ball back.
So second down and 9 here. Getting the call from the sideline. In the backfield there for the Renegades, number 6, Shane Jones, who's had a rushing touchdown of his own tonight, along with Harrington, who's also had a rushing touchdown of his own on that 1-yard QB sneak earlier in the game. Harrington looking to the right side. Is going to hit his receiver a little bit low, but able to hang on to it. Takes a shot, but not after picking up first down and 5 extra. Number 14 on that, Myron Randall.
See, that was also a sidearm throw, but one thing you saw there was the receiver was able to keep his eyes on the football before running upfield. In terms of Moore Park and their catching today, a lot of those drop passes is because they have turned their heads before fully securing the football.
8:38 remaining here in the third quarter. Going ahead and motion his tight end to the left side. Harrington gets a snap, gives it off to Jones. He gets swallowed. Ivory Jackson really having a night tonight as he comes in with a nice tackle for loss.
Yes, Ivory Jackson, the previous drive he had those 2 tackles, was able to get up in the quarterback's face on the next play, and then finally able to come with a tackle for loss as well. But that previous first down for Bakersfield, that is their first down of the second half, as they went 3 and out in their first drive of the second half. In their second drive, they had the 27-yard passing touchdown off of the fumble recovery.
Do want to point out, Ivory Jackson playing like what we could honestly say the old Ivory. Last year had 10.5 sacks, led the team in sacks. A lot more quiet this year, but tonight he's been very loud. Design QB run for Harrington is going to cut it to the left side, and he's going to be tackled there after a gain of just 3. Coming up with a tackle, Carlos Coates, number 45.
And this might be seen as an interesting opinion, but in terms of Bakersfield, I would continue to run the football even though it's only the third quarter because, one, you're up 31-6, but it's also the identity of the majority of your game thus far.
Right.
It's not something you're going away from.
Yeah,
And this game has gone by very quick, very few penalties also as a result. So I would continue to run the football if I was Bakersfield.
I only have one marked penalty for the second half. Yeah, so very, very quick and clean, which is always great to see second half. Harrington gets a snap, rolling out to his right, has 3 defenders chasing him, throwing on his back foot, going to throw it out of bounds. Heads up play.
And just as I say that, they throw the football. Once again, broadcaster's
curse.
jinx.
That's right.
The rest of us.
6:59 remaining here in the third quarter.
And guess who was there chasing the quarterback? That was Ivory Jackson, number 19, once again, making some noise in the backfield. One thing that you got to do if you're Bakersfield is you got to have that extra blocking, especially when you have that quarterback getting out of the pocket so quickly.
Eric Mateo looks to be down on the field there with his ankle. We did see him limping off earlier in the first half towards the end of the second quarter. We saw a little bit of, we could say it was a little bit of a leg injury, but he was able to play on it.
Alex Tafoya as well, not necessarily limping, but seemed to be out of breath, a little winded down on that sideline. He was helping the injured player down on that field over there at the 35-yard line. So,
while we have a break in action, sponsor time. Starting with PennyMac. Let us tackle all your mortgage needs. PennyMac, the lender you can call home. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, SoCal Life, powered for 125 years. Local number 47 is a proud supporter of Moore Park College athletics. Now, gentlemen, let's talk about one of the unsung topics in tonight's game. Now, it's not the last game of the season, but for a lot of these gentlemen, they're on their last stretch here. They have tonight, and then, of course, they have that final game against East LA. They will, with their record, regardless of if they win out, will miss a bowl game. They're not going to playoffs. It'll be the third straight year that Moore Park has missed the playoffs. The last time they were in the playoffs, 2016, which was actually Ryan's first year covering, right, along with Emery Johnson. That was the first year we actually had that broadcast. But what is going through these players' minds? How can they, still find joy and ultimately find some sort of positives to pull out in this game? Being down 31-6, just a game and a half left. What are some positives they can pull from going in?
To me, it would be working on your individual skill set as a player. It's not necessarily as much as there is a team aspect to it. When you do have, at this point, a 1-7 record, at times there can seem like you have a little bit less to play for, a little less motivation. To me, that other motivation can come from working on what to improve within your individual games, whether it be the catching, speed game, trying to lose some weight and gain some speed, or defensively trying to have some lateral quickness and get to the quarterback a little bit more as well. So,
Ryan, I do want to hear your side too, but first we have a punt. Number 83 is going to go ahead and punt it deep, that being Durain Hartman. But it's going to be a shallow punt that is caught right there at the 25-yard line by Alex Sardi. But Ryan, go ahead. Your thoughts?
Definitely with these players, these last few games coming up, if they do have potential of going to the next level and just working as hard as possible, working on those quick little fundamentals that can be able to get them to that next level. But if not, I mean, here at the community college level, you have to have a love of the game. This is a place where most athletes go if they didn't get that next level offer that they wanted, if they had some great issues, if they had something, this is their last chance to be able to make it to that next level. So having the love of the game, getting out here, having that family atmosphere, that's what you kind of look for. But definitely working on those quick little few skills to be able to get to the next level and get an offer is something that's on a lot of those players' minds.
So first down here, handed off to Eddie Mbata, is actually going to be kept by Troy Smith before he gets sacked. Coming up with that sack, number 99 for the Renegades, who read the right way to keep containment, stay to his assignment, and not bite on the handoff, that being Trey Bell.
That's called an RPO, ladies and gentlemen, a run-pass option. It gives the quarterback the decision to decide whether to give the ball to the running back or whoever is coming across the lane, or choose to pass it. It is his decision to make.
Now, it should be noted that neither of these teams have a win yet in their conference, both 0-4 coming into tonight. Hand off to Bata this time. Bata gunning out to the left side. He loves to lower that shoulder as he does it again, but this time number 27 is going to get the last laugh. Someone we don't usually see. Bata going to his knees. Number 27 putting a lick on Eddie and Bata there, that being Alonzo Davis. Wow, we don't really see that ever too much. And Alonzo Davis, listen here, at 5'10", 195 pounds. Eddie and Bata, they have him at 6'3", 220. So all hard on that play. But regardless, it will be a 3rd and 8. Troy Smith, empty backfield, 5 wide. Reading the defense, scanning the defense. Motions Bata. Going to keep it himself and throw it to Reese Smith, who breaks a tackle and spins his way for a gain of more than enough. It's going to be a gain of 9, but more than enough for the first down. 5:52 remaining in the third quarter.
See, just give the ball to that guy. He can be able to do stuff with the football in his hands, but he needs to be able to secure the football. Looked like it was a little loose.
Once again, Troy Smith going to run it himself, and he's going to pick up a gain of 5.
He had one of those holds of the football, Reese Smith, where it was just kind of on his forearm, hitting his inside of the elbow, and on his hand, he didn't have it tucked into the chest, so he got to watch out for that. As 3 lost fumbles and 4 fumbles overall for the Raiders.
Another 5 wide, little screen there, but Bata can't hold on to it as that's going to slip through his hands. And as you talked about, Ryan, yeah, I mean, holding it like a loaf of bread is what they call it in football. There's supposed to be 4 points of pressure when you're holding the football. Your palm, your forearm, your bicep, and your chest. And when you're not holding it like that, you are exposing, or allowing yourself at least, to be more likely to fumble a ball when a helmet comes across and knocks that ball out. So the 4 points of pressure is what we call fundamental football. And holding like a loaf of bread is what we call taking it to the deli. So it's going to be a 3rd down and 5 here. 5 wide once again. Troy Smith in the shotgun. Gets a snap, feeling pressure. Loses the football for the 3rd time tonight. The ball's going to roll out, and once again the Renegades have it. Coming up on yet another fumble. Troy Smith fumbling it once again. Coming up on that fumble, number 40 for the Renegades. Hanging on to that ball, that's James Johnson.
Goes to what we talked about earlier, securing that football. If you're Moore Park, you wanted to play with a little bit more of, again, urgency on that possession. A little lackadaisical, a little nonchalant. Less of a purpose. Not saying that is the catalyst for the fumble, but it could lead to less focus in terms of securing the football.
That's one thing the Raiders have to focus on. I mean, Troy Smith losing the football 3 times in one game is unacceptable.
So Harrington rolling out to his right side, has a receiver open, a little bit too low as he's going to take a hit by Gibbons, but they're not going to call anything. Intended receiver there, 84, Luke Soto, their tight end.
This may be the fastest game I believe I've ever watched.
Well, don't speak too soon. We still have an entire fourth quarter.
Yes. Close to 8 o'clock, and we are almost 3/4 of the way through the third quarter.
But let me tell you, that's how a lot of these games go. I'm telling you, this is a very quick game, but I've seen games, Justin, to kind of go off your point, where I'm like, wow, it's almost 8 o'clock, and we look around, and the next thing you know, it's 9, because the fourth quarters really do go very long. There's no timeouts that have been called yet for either team. There's going to be a fumble, though, by Harrington, as he's going to have to fall on it, and he's going to take a huge loss of 15. Harrington lucky to come back with that ball.
And part of that could be because you talked about the length of game, because you get second-string guys coming in at that point if it is a large score, as well as the fact that a lot of teams actually choose to take their timeouts to work on things that they may try to bring in the following week or throughout the season.
Moore Park having a late player running onto the field there. Lucky that they were able to get there in time. The setup screen is going to be dropped by Rowell. Coming in there was ready to lay a hit. Carlos Coates, number 45, was ready, read that screen the entire way through.
Now Moore Park having a chance to get some good field position off of this punt. Pretty obvious punting situation with a 4th and 25, but going to have a chance to have good field position, as they did fumble on their last possession, but had the 45-yard passing touchdown from Smith to Batarse on the previous one.
Something you don't see a lot, 2 punt returners back there. Archibald along with Sardi both back there ready to return here for the punt for the Renegades as they await. Punt is kicked, and it's going to fall. Nice booming kick. It's going to fall down at about the 20-yard line, down to the 10, and it's going to roll dead at about the 8. 7.
A little bit of broadcaster's curse, as I said, they're going to have some good field position, but rolling all the way inside their own 10.
So at the 8-yard line, Moore Park will start with 3:58 remaining here in the third quarter. Now, it should be noted, not impossible nor not ridiculous if Moore Park were to would be able to pull out a comeback, being down 31-6, because there's still 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. They have all 3 timeouts.
They do need to put up a score by the end of the quarter to give themselves a shot, in my opinion.
No, right, of course, but I'm just saying it's not totally unsung that Moore Park could totally not come away with this an upset. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen in football, particularly Moore Park. We haven't seen really pull out an upset yet, but it's any day is possible. So Moore Park's going to start with the ball here on the 8-yard line. There is a flag. It looks to be a false start.
It's going to be a delay of game, I think. The clock already hit 0 on the play clock.
Delay game, as Ryan alluded to.
But just a quick note, 3 first downs so far in the second half, just here in the third quarter for Moore Park. That actually ties their first down total that they had in the first half. So Moore Park showing a little bit more promise on the offensive end.
And it's going to be a first down and 15 here. Troy Smith throwing around. He's going to throw it down the middle, and it's off the hands of the intended receiver on that one. Reese Smith wanted a flag, wanted a PI on that one, but tonight's been rather clean, and he's not going to get it. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 15.
Well, and I applaud the officials because in many ways they have stayed consistent. When it comes to what coaches ask for and teams ask for, it's not necessarily, yes, they of course don't want penalties called on them, but they want the same pace for the opposite team. So if you see less penalties called on the Raiders, they would ask for the same for Bakersfield, and it's been pretty even throughout.
Motions receiver across. He's going to go ahead and hit his intended receiver on that one with Skinnier, but it's going to be off the hands of Skinnier. 2 back-to-back incompleted passes, both potentially were catchable, both off the receiver's hands, just not able to hold on to the ball. Third down is going to be a 3rd and 14 here, 3:49 remaining in the third quarter.
And it's interesting because we don't see Trey Johnson in the game. If you are going with a passing attack, as I suspect you should, with the following, 15 minutes or so left by game time, you would want the more accurate passing quarterback in the game.
Troy Smith, alone in the backfield, 5 wide. Of course, looking for a passing play in this situation. Has some space, though. He's going to take it himself as he's down by the 15, down to the 20. lowers his head, and he's going to get dragged out at about the 23. Troy Smith making it happen again. Now, one thing that should be noted, guys, is though they don't intend to have this happen, Moore Park seems to make their best plays when plays seem to be busted.
That's one thing you do see when plays are busted. If you have a dual threat quarterback like Troy Smith, then he could be able to do something with it. That's what we see out of Isaiah Johnson, too.
He's going to keep it himself once again. There's going to be a flag. But as Ryan had said, if he was a quarter bike, he runs like a quarter bike sometimes with those wheels that he has.
That flag was thrown almost 15 yards by the official.
We've seen some officials that can really air it out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there is going to be a flag. One of the tripping, a very rare call that we see at number 59 for the Moore Park Raiders, that being, drum roll, number 59 for the Moore Park Raiders tripping the Glendales. Pardon me.
You said
the
59,
Bakersfield.
Thomas Galvin.
Thank you, Thomas Galvin. Thomas Galvin tripped a Renegade. We didn't get the number for the Renegade, but we do know who caused the penalty.
Wouldn't they normally call that clipping at the D1 level, or is it also?
Well, clipping is when you are lowering your shoulder ahead at the knees. Tripping is when you just kick someone's foot out. So Smith going to overthrow his wide open receiver in Jordan Cuevas. Tripping is what you did when your sister was being mean to you on the baseball field, Justin.
True story.
True
Hey.
story.
Justin was talking about
Very accurate.
Yep.
Yeah, Justin was talking about earlier on some of the questionable things that he does in the, down in the pile. That
when
he kind of does some illegal plays out
That's
there.
right.
What was that supposed to mean?
Justin was a Heisman nominee last
Yeah, so
year.
you know a lot about tripping.
He does. He does whatever he can. Just win, baby, Al Davis. So it's going to be a second down here in 18, 3:16 remaining in the third quarter. Once again, 5 wide. Morrison, motion across. Of course, he's going to keep it himself. Throw it down the middle. Hit Blake Patarse. He's going to catch it and pick up a nice gain on that. That's going to be a gain of about 10, but not enough for the first down, as that's going to bring up a third down.
And that was a good, decent throw right there from Smith to Batarse. I feel like Moore Park was trying to get that first down just from one play. It feels like they are trying to do that each time. Why not just get a little check down throw, get a couple yards, and then kind of push yourself further towards that first down marker, and that's what they're doing.
So Troy Smith, once again, 5 wide, down the middle, off the hands of Batarse, but there is a flag. There's another flag. There's 2 flags on the field.
At least a holding, if not a pass interference. The hooking of the arm there, causing the receiver to be impeded in terms of that catch.
That's already 1 first down for the Raiders in this drive, looking to be their second first down, as well as they have 4 first downs in this second half, just the third quarter alone prior to this call.
Holding, they're going to call it against number 35. It's calling against number 35 on the play, and they're going to call it against Blake Batarse. That's being Anthony Villanueva. So with that, it's going to be a fresh set of downs for the Raiders. Pump fakes, and then keeps it himself, cuts down and cuts back, and then is dropped at about the 44-yard line.
See, one thing Moore Park needs to work on is, sure, Troy Smith can be able to get positive yardage when a play breaks down, but literally, Bakersfield only had a 3-man rush. A guy came off against the left tackle and was able to get pressure on Smith with only 3-man rush.
And he's going to be swallowed up there.
And Ryan, would you consider if he does run that he starts to slide? I mean, he's taking some major hits. The time and score doesn't necessarily lend itself to that, but
And
he's also fumbled it 3 times, so it also helps to secure the football.
yes, sliding might be a good option, but usually with that dual threat quarterback, they want to make a move on the defender. They want to try to get a couple extra yards, but sliding might be good for Smith with all those fumbles.
Smith looking to his right side, going to go ahead and hit his receiver, Morrison, who is tackled, but does look to have enough for the first down, as those chains are going to keep on moving.
3 first downs on this drive alone. Just this drive alone matches their total of the first half and their second best drive of the game prior to that 45-yard touchdown pass.
Smith throws against once, same exact play to Morrison, but this time Morrison unable to come away with it.
And this is that point, Nick, you mentioned the fact that if they choose to go to the sideline or take those timeouts and work on something, that the game time will extend a lot more than what the clock may represent.
Well, it also, of course, and it's also who has the ball. If Moore Park has the ball, get ready for a lot of clock stoppages because they're just going to throw the ball. There should be no reason why they run the ball from here on out unless they get
Other than
back in
Smith
this game.
improvising as
Right,
well,
exactly.
which he's done.
Yeah, there should be no designed run plays right now. Like right now, he just had to improvise. Exactly.
I don't know if that was improvised.
You think that was a?
That was an RPO, and I think he chose to take it instead of hand it off to the outside.
But see, the downside, I should probably reiterate what I said and actually clarify. There should be a couple of runs, of course, because you don't want to be so one-dimensional that
Predictable,
they become predictable. But it should be very limited. It should be maybe 1 or 2 runs a drive, if that. Especially right now with being down.
Well, now
31-6.
now they've reached the point where it's got to be passed all
Yep,
the way. You're
yep.
going into a fourth quarter. You need to score.
Yeah, there's just 47 seconds remaining here in the third quarter as this clock keeps winding down. 5 wide is the only way that you really should go. Maybe 2 dual threats and have a running back for some extra protection. But that's going to be fumbled. Smith is going to go ahead and pick it up. Does he have it?
They're
He
marking
does.
him down. Yeah, the line judge right there.
Back at the 37-yard
So after that fumble, that's going to take him back
And that
quite a few
basically
yards.
negates all the momentum you've just put into this drive.
and 21.
4th and 21 is going to be another punt. Let's see if they're able to get it off before the quarter comes to an end, as there is just 10, 9, 8 seconds left. I was going to keep counting, but don't want to build that much suspense. Doesn't look like they're going to get it off in time, and they're not going to get it off in time.
We're
That's
not in the twilight zone. I don't think you need to.
I wanted
count
to.
it down.
I know. I wanted to though.
And that's the end of the third.
That's going to end the third quarter as it's 31-6. But Moore Park able to score at least some points and show some signs of light. And back to the sponsors, starting with DCH Auto Group, delivering customer happiness. Corner Bakery Cafe, located in the Simi Valley Town Center, proud to support Moore Park College athletics, breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. Matera Design Consultant for all your design, layout, and production needs. Contact Vince Matera at vmateraearthlink.net. Matera Design Consultant. Los Robles Health System has been your source for your family's health care for more than 50 years. Award-winning care now closer to home. Custom Pie and Bar next door. Wood-only oven pizza. 17 craft beers on tap. Wine by the glass. Appetizers. Pasta. Salad. And even more. Home of the Raiders happy hour for each home football game, including tonight. So go ahead and get yourself some custom pies. They got 17 beers on tap if you're 21. But with that being said, we're back to the action. 15 minutes remaining in this quarter. Just 15 minutes. But a lot can happen in 15 minutes, gentlemen. Moore Park having all 3 timeouts, but they are going to have to punt the ball away first before they can get that ball back.
And I have to disagree with you, Nick, with the fact that they're punting the ball away to start this quarter. Bakersfield.
It's going to be a rather bad snap, but Mokshian able to boot it down inside the 20 before it's picked up by Reese Smith. Continue, Justin.
Bakersfield can conceivably, if they choose to run the football, which they've had success with today, they can at least, if they really want to bleed the clock, take down half the quarter if they really wanted to.
Whoa.
If they wanted to be
That's a
extremely
lot.
conservative.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen 6-minute drives in college football before, 7-minute drives in college football before.
I mean, we've seen 10-minute drive. You can see, I mean, there's some
Yes.
very long drives out there. I mean, you get these methodical
Especially,
third down
I mean,
pickup
when you
and
look
just
at teams
enough.
like Wisconsin or Michigan at the D1 level. They
right.
like to play physical. They like to run the ball. Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin is one of their all-time leading rushers. So
Nice D1 stats from Justin Borses.
I think he's second all-time. I think he just passed a record at some point.
And Martin going to be tackled. Not surprisingly, the Renegades going with the run.
Carry.
Ryan's smiling at me like I'm correct. But
Second and 9.
Second down and 9.
See Justin doing that research for the next level.
He'll be there one day. I can see it. So
one can dream. One can dream.
second down and 9 here. Harrington, I think a great call. It goes without saying. After just the first drive, Harrington has been in the game the entire time and has even had a rushing touchdown himself. So great call to stick with Harrington in the second half. He's got a receiver wide open downfield, but it's actually going to be broken up by Colby Williams. Great defense on that play.
Great defense, able to locate the football. No PI call because he turned his head early. And, of course, the broadcaster's curse strikes again. I say run the football. They throw it deep. So
And talking about my point, number 12, Braden Wingle, who actually leads the team with most passing yards. He has over 1,000, had 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But with numbers like that, those aren't very staggering. So it makes sense why they wanted to try out Larry Harrington, who has been the man and arguably the main reason why they've had so much success tonight. I know the running game has been a great part of it, but Harrington's really led this team. So nice decision by the coaching staff. He's got a man wide open deep. He's going to air it out, just overthrown to his intended receiver on that one. Number 80, Nicholas Edwards. 6'6", 185 pounds. Very tall indeed. But doesn't matter how tall you are. If you overthrow your receiver, you're not going to be able to hit him.
We're seeing Harrington try to throw the ball deep a couple of times, but maybe that's one of the reasons why he hasn't thrown it deep too much in this game, because of the inaccuracy as he's been running the football a lot and going for some short pass completions as the play clock is winding down.
And I have to admit, I'm not sure why you would do that. You basically gave Moorpark a free possession. You stopped the clock,
right.
Something that at this point I wouldn't think that Bakersfield would want to do.
And that punt's going to be intermediate and caught right there at the 50-yard line.
And the fact that now the punt is short, you give Moorpark good field position with plenty of time here in the fourth quarter. Not saying that they have an amazing shot at coming back, but to give them those extra chances, I don't think Bakersfield would want to do that.
Well, if they're going to come back, they are setting themselves up with good position to come back, Moorpark, that is, because they forced 2 straight 3-and-outs and punts for Bakersfield. They've actually forced Bakersfield to punt it 4 out of their 5 possessions in the second half. So Moorpark definitely stopping them from scoring previous to the 9th drive when they had the 27-yard passing touchdown, but stopping them from scoring the majority of this second half and setting themselves up with good position. They've just not been able to do anything with the ball.
And again, I'm interested. I'm asking the question of why is Trey Johnson not in the game? With the time and score, he's your most accurate passer. He takes care of the football. He's very methodical on the field.
Troy Smith motions Archibald, keeps it himself, looking deep, throws a dart. Intended receiver Smith, overthrown. Nice coverage there by number 22 for the Renegades. Side by side Smith the entire route. Mason Wright got it right. 13:59 remaining here in the game, as it has without a doubt been Renegades 31, Moorpark 6.
You know, I have a question, and you guys may not know the answer to this. Does Troy Smith have another year of eligibility at the junior college level?
I'm not positive. I know that I'm not clear with the redshirt rules. I know that he only technically started 2 games. There's going to be a muff snap, but he's going to go ahead and throw it to Fuller before Fuller takes a hit.
Well, and one of those reasons I asked that question is because it could be the reason he's getting a ton of reps. If he's the QB of the future, meaning even the rest of this year and next year, that could be why he's in the game.
I mean, you could look at that. You could look at that either way, though. Yeah, of course, the future or the fact that Moorpark's season doesn't have anywhere to go. They might just say, hey, you've been with us for 2 years now. Let's get you as many reps as you can before you're on your way to the next level, because they probably don't want to risk playing Isaiah Johnson more than they need to. I know he's not here tonight, or even Trey Johnson more than they need to. Might as well get the kid that was there last year and has nothing to lose, basically, as many reps. So you can take either perspective, I think. But Johnson is going to hit Smith this time wide open, catches it, and he's going to stay on his feet.
Well, and it's important to note that these players are looking, and these scouts are looking for players. So as much as it is about team and winning and providing a winning culture, these players are in some ways looking out for themselves and trying to provide a skill set to scouts that can use them in the future, because this is a junior college level. They will need to transfer.
Timeout for Bakersfield. But, yeah, I mean, I do want to point out, like you said, Justin, it's a team game, but there is a certain point, and it's totally okay. People can disagree, but I don't care if it sounds biased. As a player, you need to understand that you are only in control of you. Your team's record being a 1-7 the way it is, you can't control that. You play for your team, but at the end of the day, who's the only one that can get out of here to Moorpark is the player. So the player has to start playing, maybe not so much for themselves, but stop thinking about so much as the team and start thinking about how can I make these next 2 games as good as I can for my highlight reel.
And that is one thing that you're always talking about, but also you
bettering your play as well, that can help the team too. Like a guy like Ivory Jackson kind of had a lackluster season so far, but him making a huge impact out on the defensive side, that's also helping the team, them forcing 2 straight 3-and-outs, 3 straight punts to be exact as well, with only giving up 1 first down. So increasing your productivity can also help the team too, and we're seeing that out there.
So it's going to be a first down and 10, ball on the 34-yard line. Smith once again has to keep it himself.
Smith on the carry takes the ball to the 30-yard line.
He's going to take it to the 30-yard line. As our PA announcer has just said, I want to give a thanks to our PA announcer as well. Does a phenomenal job here. I need to go get his name because
Bill Saunders.
Bill Saunders, yeah, pretty incredible guy. He's been doing it for many years at Moore Park. Has a pretty great voice as well. I mean, he could maybe do broadcast. You never know. But Bill Saunders, thank you for all your efforts here as the PA announcer for the Moore Park College Raiders. Troy Smith overthrows, intended receiver being Dupree Fuller on that 5-yard out.
A much different but equally important form of broadcasting, especially to the fans here that are watching this game. They need to know what's going on, and in certain cases they may not be able to see jersey numbers the way we can. Their eyes are not trained to look for that kinds of things, so to point out players' names and completion yards and things of that nature are important to the fans that are here trying to enjoy this contest.
So 13:02 remaining. Troy Smith, 5 wide, same setup. Fakes the handoff to Archibald, rolls to his left. He's feeling the pressure, having to take it upfield down to the 30, gets shoved out about the 32-yard line. He's going to lose a couple yards, but avoids the sack.
Moore Park, they were able to get a first down on this drive previously, and that actually makes it 4 straight drives with at least 1 first down for the Moore Park Raiders.
And that shows there's definitely some progress. We talked about only 3 first downs all of the entire first half, and they already have 4 first downs coming into the second half. They are definitely showing that something is clicking, as there is 12:30 remaining in the game.
And yeah, actually 7 first downs in this second half so far.
7, correction. Thank you, Ryan. Feeling the pressure, going to load up and hit Smith. I'm not sure what the defender was doing there, but he threw it right to Reese Smith as he gets another first down.
And if you're the Raiders, I would start picking up speed. I know it's the fourth quarter. I know you're down by 24, but you want to start moving the tempo. You want to start getting into some kind of rhythm. We haven't really seen a rhythm all night, so.
Just got to keep attacking the air game. And that's what he's going to do. Feeling pressure, Troy Smith rolling out to the right side, taking a nice light heads-up play, using his brain, not his body.
And as Justin and I were talking about, he finally did go down for a slide, maybe protecting the football a little, protecting himself too. And one quick note for Justin, it's 25 points, not 24, but it's okay.
I
know we're not math majors out here.
I knew I was a point off. Mental math, never my strong suit, folks. That's why I talk for a living.
Hey, same boat with me as well.
Hey, same here. I'm also taking a math class for everyone that doesn't
stats,
care.
I scraped by with a B. I was thrilled.
There you go. That's going to be on the pop quiz next week. Troy Smith throwing off his back foot. He's going to hit Jordan Cuevas, who's going to have his first receiving touchdown of the year. What a strike. Never mind.
They're calling it incomplete.
They're calling it incomplete. I saw something else.
It down on the end.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to the viewers. I was optimistic. I really thought that there was a touchdown there, but we all make mistakes. And on that one, that was a big mistake. Incomplete. But doesn't mean that he couldn't score on this next play. So look for Cuevas on the next play. Potentially a post route.
Well, they would probably want to get the first down here with 7 yards before going for the
Very
end zone.
realistic. Okay, Justin. Rolling out to his left side, throwing off his back foot, throwing way into the third row of the track. But there is a flag on the play.
I don't call them rows. I call them columns.
Third column. Flag on the play. This could be potentially going against Glendale. Roughing the passer. Roughing the passer, number 40 for the offense, that being James Johnson. So heads-up play there by Troy Smith to get rid of the ball and took a shot doing it.
And there was a lot of pressure coming at him. There was somebody coming off of the right end, and then there was also some more pressure coming off straight into him as he had 3 Renegades running at him. But 3 first downs after that penalty, given the Moore Park Raiders a pretty good drive.
So, 11:06 remaining in the game. Troy Smith, ball on the 9-yard line, reading the defense, gets the snap. Looking to his right side, has to look back to his left, throws across the middle. Receiver wasn't able to turn his head around. Brandon Archibald, the intended receiver.
I don't know if it was intended for Archibald or the receiver that was double covered in the end zone. Archibald was the open one for sure. Should have been thrown to him.
Yeah, Dupree Fuller, number 1, was the one that was double covered and thrown the football 3 times to him on this drive and haven't been able to get it to him.
Obvious to me, 4-down territory, regardless of where we stand at this point.
Goes without saying. I mean, yeah, 31-6. Got to put some points up on the board if you're the Raiders, and a touchdown if you're going to put points up. Spreading them out wide like they've done and like they've actually had success with. Smith going to take it himself. Slides.
I must admit I am slightly confused by this because he did not slide earlier in this game and he's choosing to slide now, possibly to conserve. Well, no, it wouldn't conserve time. The clock is still running. He didn't get a first down. So I'm slightly
So retract your statement, please, Justin.
I just did. I
Thank
did
you.
retract my statement.
Thank you.
In fact, I didn't even make the statement that the clock stops before he gets a first down.
Intended receivers going down. Intended player.
I think it was a lineman.
Lineman going down on that play.
What?
He was.
What just-
I don't know if he has a cramp or whatnot. He was running down to the field and he grabbed his leg in excruciating amount of pain. Something might have popped or snapped.
I hope
torn.
Nothing serious.
That looked pretty intense,
because
actually.
It's one thing during the course of a play to cramp up and then fall to the ground. He was trying to come onto the field.
That being
in a full sprint.
That was number 79, Anthony Cruz, 365 pounds, 6'4". Now, you got to think about something like this from the scientific perspective. 365 pounds at 6'4", your body is not able to move as quick as, as maybe someone that's 185 pounds, 5'10". Because of that, there's a lot more pressure and mass on your body. So when these bones crush or they snap, it's that much more excruciating and that much more detrimental because your body, it just can't work like someone that's, half that size. It takes a lot more motion and strength and energy to move your body at that weight. Hopefully he's okay. Anthony Cruz, that being.
I like it, Dr. Federico.
There we go. But potentially finally, the last sponsors of the night. Starting with Marketplace, the official supplier of trophies, awards, gifts, and apparel for Moore Park College since 2007. Coca-Cola celebrates, helping athletes power through with Powerade. Corporate Graphic Communications, official signage company of Moore Park College Athletics. Jan's Marketplace, cheers to a successful season, proudly supporting Moore Park College Athletics. Great to see Anthony Cruz get back to his own 2 feet, as he is, though, in a decent amount of pain. And with that, we're back to the action. Moore Park knocking as they are on a 3rd and goal opportunity here. Dupree Fuller on the right side, trips to the right side with Jueves along with Skinnier. Reese Smith isoed out to the left side. Look potentially for Smith to hit Reese Smith on this next play. He's going to roll out to the right and then throw it back to the left. Is this a design play to the lineman, number 69 on the touchdown? What an incredible call. Johan Rodriguez. Wow.
Pass complete to offensive lineman number 69.
Where did that come from?
You got to pull it out of
Never
seen
that to this point in the season. They are pulling out the tricks out of the bag now.
Now, I think he had to have been tackled because as far as it works, you can't throw to your guards or center.
Is he an eligible receiver?
He has. You have to tell the referees that so-and-so is going to be, 69 is going to be an eligible receiver, I'm pretty sure. As long as you basically specify that you are one, then the referees know. You don't have to obviously tell the other team, but you have to tell the referees. So that's what they did, and they're going to go for 2, as they should. They are down 31-12.
Also missing the PAT on their previous touchdown as well, trying to get them back up to 14 instead of being 13, a point kind of behind the usual total.
All righty. Here we go. Going for 2 on this one. Archibald in the backfield for this choice. Sardi on the left side. Jueves on the right.
And
flags and whistles, pardon me. No flags, but whistles. Timeout taken by the Renegades. They are going to use their second charge timeout of the half. They have one remaining.
Quick note, the Raiders back-to-back drives. So this one and the previous one, 3 first downs. They had a punt in their previous drive, but this one able to score a touchdown off of the 6-yard pass, but pretty successful drives, at least moving the football down the field for the Raiders.
In terms of moving the football, that's correct. A lot of those drives, unfortunately, had ended in fumbles, which is why they weren't able to be scored upon. If they were, you could have been looking not only at a couple more Raider touchdowns, but a possible lead if they were able to score here.
Well, let's thank a couple more of our sponsors, shall we? Yes, we shall. Starting with Jan's Marketplace. Cheers to a successful season. Proudly supporting Moore Park College Athletics. I already said that one, but we're going to go ahead and say it again. The Hat Restaurant in Simi Valley. Since 1951, 68 years of serving the world-famous pastrami, Chili's, burgers, dogs, 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Go to thehat.com to look at more options. With that, back to the action. Going to go for a second for the two-point conversion once again. Smith going to take it himself, fake the option, dive across, and fumbles again. He fumbled it again, and it's scooped up.
It can be returned.
Smith on his, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, you have the stat card right there. Third or fourth fumble lost by Troy Smith. I think it's his third.
So actual fumble itself is 4 and fumbles lost is 3.
Wow.
Just by Troy Smith alone.
So they recovered 1, if my math is correct.
No, Bakersfield has recovered 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, he means Moore Park.
Moore Park, yes.
Moore Park has recovered 1.
That
4
is correct.
3, very simple subtraction.
All right.
I thought you were trying to do 4 minus 1, and I was like, what?
All right, here we go. Leiden Auto Group featuring Subaru. Family owned and operated for over 45 years, always closer to home, located in the Thousand Oaks Mall. Leiden Subaru. Meathead Movers, who is your game sponsor for tonight? We talked to Cody Johnson earlier on. Thank you once again for Cody for coming by and doing that halftime interview. We appreciate it. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Meathead Movers, proudly serving Ventura County since 2007. Very long time. Stonefire Grill, where community is served. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, and catering. Proudly sponsoring Moore Park College Athletics.
Going back to fumbles real quickly, 6 fumbles by Moore Park. 5 of them Bakersfield has recovered, so they have not been able to hold on to the football any bit so tonight.
Ready for an onside kick, but Hague's Moxie going with the pooch kick.
Pooch,
it's going to be a fair cut. It's going to be fair cut, pardon me, I should say. The Renegades were in an onside kick return formation, but it was just a pooch kick. Something I want to bring up, luckily, we are no longer affected by it, but the fire's going on around here. Want to thank all of our first responders. A couple of my friends personally, Diego Reynoso, a couple other people out there I know with these first responders, risking their lives to keep us safe. So I want to thank everyone out there for doing your job and protecting us.
Yeah, Jacob Salzman is one of my friends. He's actually one of the photographers for our local fire department. He's been able to capture some really captivating shots in terms of what they've been able to get. I believe the fires are moving up north now.
Right, and that's a whole nother problem in itself. Yeah. Harrington's going to keep it himself. But, yeah, continuing on that point, we are pretty lucky. Not too long ago, I know, Ryan, we talked about you and me living in Simi Valley. We almost had to evacuate, and the camera's probably not going to be able to get it. But Ronald Reagan Library, you can see clear as day if you look over to your right side here, was nearly affected as everything around it burned.
It's pretty amazing. The kind of safeguards that they have in that building.
Set up, yeah.
And, in fact, the people who were there, I had watched an interview, and a gentleman had said that they had actually asked the attendees that day to stay in the building, because it was safer within the walls of the actual
they locked him indoors. They locked him down,
than outside where the fire was raging at the time.
And it's great we didn't lose such an incredible museum like the Reagan Library.
Well, that's also Moore Park College-owned Evan Reinhardt and Ryan Bowe, who actually work for the Moore Park Reporter as well. They were actually in the Ronald Reagan Library when the fires were going on, and they were locked inside as well near Air Force One. But that's definitely a scary situation, as well as the Getty being burnt basically all around it as well. So some big museums, the library here and the art museum.
Luckily, they were okay, unaffected by it. It's going to be nearly intercepted, but through the hands of number 23 for the Moore Park Raiders. He knew he could have had that one. Cashin Haffery.
Going back real quickly as well, kind of affecting our community. 2 days ago, it was the anniversary, 1-year anniversary of the Borderline shooting as well. So definitely the community affected by that. And yesterday, the 1-year anniversary of the Woolsey fire that really burned through the community. So we just want to thank all the first responders stepping in the line of duty and being able to help us and be able to save us. Even Sergeant Ron Heelis, who unfortunately was one of the victims of the Borderline shooting, he actually has they were able to put up a sign for him to be able to memorialize him right on the 101 freeway where Borderline is.
And I actually would also like to thank all the events coordinators that have been putting on these, sort of memorial services, not in a death sort of sense, but in a happy remembrance kind of a way throughout the college and throughout the community over the last week or so. There's been a lot of different events going on for all of these different situations. So
and talking about Borderline, mixing what both you guys are talking about, the Borderline Memorial was pretty fantastic. I didn't go myself, but I know that they actually danced and they basically had a Borderline night right outside of Borderline, which I thought was incredible. And it was awesome because, so many times you think of all the tragedies, but what they did is they flipped it and they basically acted like it was another night of Borderline where they had the dancing, they had the square dancing, and, a really great cause. But with that being said, Troy Smith's going to go ahead and get the ball here, keep it himself, and he's going to slowly walk out of bounds. Loses the football once again. He tried to pretend like he was going to go out of bounds, and then he cut back to try and get a couple more yards, but the ball was knocked away. Regardless, Moore Park is going to maintain possession. It's going to be 2nd and 9.
And I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Actually, as of yesterday, somebody on our desk over here had a birthday. He's a very big, tall, very kind and wonderful, but also slightly annoying redhead on the end. Ryan, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
That's right.
The beard's coming in. Your last name is Ketchum, but you should be called Ketchup because of your red hair. Just making that,
it's gonna be
known to the world.
That's
awesome.
Happy
birthday, bud.
Pass is going to be completed. Nice pass in the pocket right there to Reese Smith's going to pick up a first down. But, yes, my brother/mentor, Ryan, happy birthday, bro. You're 22 now. If we were to make it to playoffs, we would be able to say happy birthday to me, but we're not going to make it this year.
And mine is in the spring, so
That's
there's no shot here in the fall for that.
No way, right?
Thank you very much for all the birthday love, guys.
You got it, bro. So, sack on that play by the Renegades, number 58, Kristen Dunaz.
And, yes, I guess I do have ketchup-colored hair with a little bit of a red ginger tint in there, as Justin alluded to.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 12 here. 7:29 remaining in the game. Trey Johnson in the game tonight. Justin talked about why not get him some snaps, and now he does. He has to roll up in the pocket, and he's going to fumble it. And the ball is on the ground, and it looks to be
I thought he was down.
Bakersfield football. That is going to be yet another fumble for the Raiders. And you can only imagine the sort of frustration that this entire Moore Park team is feeling right now at this very moment.
Ryan, our resident statistician over there, how many fumbles have we got now? Is it 6, 7? Overall?
So 7 overall, 6 have been recovered by Bakersfield.
Wow. That's quite a few fumbles.
Part of me wants to look up the record. See how many within a season the Raiders have given up, because this is almost becoming an astronomical number in terms of the amount.
Oh, definitely. 7:09 remaining. Hands off to Shane Jones. He's going to lower his shoulder. What a stiff arm, and stays on his feet somehow. And that's actually part of me. That's going to be Isaiah Martin. Correction. Isaiah Martin on the carry. What a stiff arm, and never went down. I mean, if you just look at his actual stature, very thick as far as, you really got to wrap the lower part of his leg to even drag him down with a frame like that. So, first down, ball on the 30-yard line, 6:45 remaining in the ball game. Moore Park not trying to give up any more points. Bakersfield looking to add to the beating, 31-12. Hand off once again, Martin up the middle. Dragged across.
Carey takes the ball to the 20-yard line.
And after that last first down previously by the Renegades, this is their 14th drive. It's their first down since their 10th drive. So they had three straight 3-and-outs and had to punt the football. So finally able to get a first down and get their offense back on track.
2nd down and 1. Just under 6 minutes remaining. They're going to go ahead and hand the ball off once again to Martin, who's got some room. Lowers his shoulder, lowers his arm, and takes it inside the 5-yard line.
Martin takes the ball for 16 yards
Now,
down to
we
the
do want to thank
4-yard line.
everyone here,
First
but of
and 10
course,
to
we're doing a lot of thank yous. We do want to thank the cheer team and Kelsey Stewart, the leader here. She's really done a great job with the girls here. The girls as well have really done a phenomenal performance week in and week out, and they even traveled for College of the Canyon. So, thank you, cheer team, for all that you do.
Important to note, there are also, at least as far as I'm aware, one young man that is on the team as well, all inclusive in terms of gender. So
Yes,
the entire team, it is not just females who are welcome to try out and make the team. There are male members as well.
that is correct. It should be noted. And that's one of the awesome things about. There was a touchdown. There was prior play. There was just a touchdown. So it'll be 37-12. But yes, the Moore Park is welcoming, and as they should be, to all genders and races and ethnicities. It's what makes this pretty awesome about the diversity here at Moore Park College. So 37-12 is the score. Kick is up, PAT is up, and it's good.
The kick is good with 5:23 to
That was Bakerfield's first touchdown ever since their second drive of the second half. So they have gone at least in total 4 straight drives without scoring, and then finally able to score right now for the Renegades.
Finally, the final 2 sponsors that you will ever hear me do. Drum roll. Drum roll finished. College football is here. Celebrate with Chick-fil-A. Located in Sycamore Square in Simi Valley. And eat, drink, play at Dave and Buster's in Thousand Oaks.
And in case you're wondering why Nick just said his final 2 sponsors to read, he will not be here next week. Ryan and I will be taking care of the broadcast for your viewers next week. So, Nick, we want to, of course, thank you.
You got it,
You
bro.
are the best pal, the brother instead of the bestie that I
course.
called you last week.
Of course.
And it's been a heck of a time working with you, and I've had tons and tons of fun. He's not done yet. He's coming back.
No,
in
we're
the
coming
spring,
back, yeah. But it's just to clarify.
for the football season, this is his final game.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'll be gone for next year for the 2020 football season. I'll be gone out of Moore Park. I'll be graduating here in spring. So I will unfortunately no longer be at Moore Park College, but I do want to thank them. I do want to get this play off real fast, as it is going to be returned there at the 3-yard line. Cut across, Archibald breaks a tackle, cuts back to his right side, breaks another tackle, keeps those legs moving, and he's going to be dragged, but not before picking up a nice chunk of about 25 yards. We'll talk more about it in the post game, but yes, this will be my last football game. Is next week. Unfortunately, I want to go help out with some family related. It's more of a it's a good thing for our family, but anyway, we don't need to worry about that. I will not be here next week, so this will be the last football game I'm covering. Been doing it for 3 years, ever since Ryan brought me along, which is crazy. I remember our first game, I was wearing a T-shirt and pants. Didn't even have a suit. I didn't even know I didn't know I was going to do it that day, but so glad I
watched
did.
that tape. It was quite good.
It was horrible. I didn't know players' names. We already know I can barely pronounce words as it is, and I was just stumbling over the other word. But I'm so glad I did it, because who knows if that opportunity would have been there next
you've
week.
grown. Maybe not in height, but
Yeah.
certainly in.
That's a good one. Tyree Morris is going to cut up across to the 40-yard line. He's going to have more than enough for a first down. I have not.
Certainly
I've
in
maxed out at about.
broadcasting ability, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, he's maxed out. I'm maxed out at 5'8", unfortunately, but at least
I'm
we got
5 foot tall. I've tried to give myself a couple extra inches. It never works.
Gotcha. It's all right. I called you 5'2" earlier, so take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great ride here with you, Nick. It's been fun doing it with you for 3 years. I don't think Justin should be talking about height anytime soon. Me being 6'5" out here.
That's right. That's
Just saying.
Big country. Morrison faked the handoff to Botarse, who holds on to it. What a reception. Keeping constant composure as he's able to hold on to that ball. Blake Botarse, when they get him the ball, he makes the plays happen. They have to continue to target him for the remainder of this game and the remainder of next week, as that will be the rest of the season.
The reason they're roasting me, ladies and gentlemen.
Trey Johnson going deep. Intended receiver Alex Sardi, that's going to be incomplete.
Is if you put us in height in, descending order, I'm at everybody's waists. So clearly it's almost like a bar graph or a pie chart. You just look at it from top down, and I'm, sort of 5 centimeters up.
And we're roughly like spread out about 8 or 9 inches apart. I mean, you're 5 foot, I'm 5'8". Ryan's 6'5".
5 foot and mighty, we call it in my family.
There you go. There you go. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10 here. Ball on the 43-yard line. Motion across once again. It's going to be Archibald who's going to get the handoff from Johnson and take a shot. It's going to be a 3rd down. But, yeah, going back to the sob story we're about to bring up, yeah, it's been really fun here with you guys. It's in no way done. We'll definitely be covering for all of our viewers that are interested or enjoy our broadcast. We will be covering volleyball and basketball games here in the spring. So, and as early as, we don't have confirmation, but we have been told as early as, February, potentially January. So it will be up rather soon, this broadcast. It's going to be a 3rd down and 4. Johnson hits to Reese Smith, who lowers his shoulder, then stays up, picks up the 1st down. But I think that football, and maybe it sounds a little bit cliche, but I mean, football has really been where it started. To me, it's the most fun just because I played it. Not that I don't enjoy or love basketball or volleyball, and I have respect for all 3 equally, but I really do enjoy these football broadcasts just a little bit more than the rest because I can relate a little bit better. So the fact that it's going to be closing one chapter is sad, but it's it's been a great experience.
Another.
Exactly.
Opening
it's been a great
door.
experience. As Brandon Archibald's going to go ahead and roll around to the right side so quick and elusive, he's going to be tackled. There's a flag on the play. But, yes, we will be back. Just to reiterate that, we will be back in the spring. We are guaranteed for the broadcast for the spring. So if you love watching these sports or even hearing Justin's annoying voice, go ahead and make sure you tune in.
I'm lovable. I'm lovable, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And you will be hearing a lot more of me next year, too.
Yeah,
so,
you will because
I
will be. Yeah, I'll be gone. Ryan is. I mean, I'm not going to speak on behalf, but what you've told me, Ryan, is that you might not be back here next year. We don't know yet, but Justin, without a doubt, will be back next year.
I have units to take as a student here next year, so I will certainly be back in the very least for the fall. I haven't made the decision in terms of the spring yet, but
one thing to check out as well, as we are going to be covering some spring sports, we got some pretty incredible teams, both basketball teams looking good at the start of the season. Guys like Mason Johnson, Tim Andrioli, starring for the men's basketball team, and the women's basketball team got some returning starters like Jasmine Crosco and Brianna Calhoun, who actually led their team all the way to the state championship game, which they lost in. So should be a fun upcoming season for those sports.
And they've also won their first couple games in terms of the preseason tournaments they're playing.
Johnson going deep, incomplete. Tender receiver, Reese Smith. Yeah, I mean, yeah, talking about the women's basketball team, we actually covered them. You guys covered a couple games. I was able to cover one of them with you, that first round of playoffs.
During the playoff
2018 season, and it was pretty phenomenal. The women, or actually this 2019 season, it was this last year, yeah.
They tend to like to, try to shoot it from 3. That's their calling card.
I mean, yeah, Brianna, but you also have some, people that can play inside the paint like Brianna Calhoun. She's, incredible with the handles. And that's going to be another flag.
And that's a PI
pretty
because
obvious.
The defensive back did not turn to locate the ball. He was keeping his eye on the receiver. His back was turned. So that's an easy call for the official.
And you know what? After that penalty, obviously it looks like it's going against Bakersfield. That will give the Moore Park Raiders a first down, which this is the most successful drive in. If you're just looking at first downs and pushing the football down the field, they'll have 4 in this drive. Just a quick fact right there, tossing that in there.
2:47 remaining in the game. It's going to be another Raider first down, of course, with that PI. Raiders looking to put a couple more points up on the board here. They are spotted with the ball at the 23-yard line, roughly. Johnson across the middle is able to hit to Fuller.
Pass complete to Fuller.
5 first downs on this drive, as the previous 4 drives added together, the Moore Park Raiders have 12 first downs as Dupree Fuller finally getting
first
in.
Catch. I think that's his first catch today.
And they've used him a little bit earlier on in the season and had success with him, but Dupree Fuller, finally getting his reception tonight.
So first down, first and goal, ball on the 7-yard line. Trey Johnson throwing across the middle. Is it caught? Incomplete. Intended receiver, Reese Smith.
2:23 left in this game. Moore Park, this could be their last opportunity to score for the rest of this one. Want to try to get it to at least 18, maybe 20 if they choose to go for a 2-point conversion. And that math was correct.
Fact checked it and show me the Carfax. It's good. So second down and 7. 2:23 remaining in the game. Skinnier to the right side, Cuevas to the right side, Smith ISO'd out to the left, and Archibald in the backfield alongside Trey Johnson. Archibald coming out to the left side in a swing pass route. He's going to throw it to Reese Smith, but just off the hands of him.
Normally Nick takes care of the weather. But
I do. I like to talk about the weather.
I think this week I'll take care of it.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
So give me a second while I
Justin.
open the
Let me
app.
talk then while you do that shenanigans. Oh, we have it.
It's a chilly night.
Wait, let me throw it to you. And down on the Weather Channel, we have Justin Borses. What's the weather update looking like?
It's a chilly night, clear sky, 60 degrees. The high of today was 93, so clearly
Wow.
it was quite warm before the start of this game. In fact, with the winds picking up, it's been quite hot. But
Johnson, their intended receiver, was Dupree Fuller, but that was broken up. Broken up by number 94 for the Renegades, stopping that from getting anywhere near Dupree Fuller. Tabir Nylander. So just to reiterate that, 33 degree difference in a drop-off. Wow, what a crazy day here at Moore Park, California. But in all seriousness,
that is California
in all
for
seriousness,
you,
the weather has
honestly.
played zero factor, which is always a great sign for football. There's no wind factor, there's no rain factor, it's a little cold, but for these players, they can handle it. Nothing that can really be detrimental to the play of either team. So it's been a rather nice night. 'Twas the season. And Johnson going to throw it across the middle, hits his receiver, keeps his feet in bounds. They're saying touchdown. Go crazy. Go crazy. Skinnier with this touchdown. That's going to bring it up to 38-18 with just 2:10 remaining.
were you trying to be Jack Buck? Go
I'm
crazy, folks.
I'm
go
trying
crazy.
to I need to find my own catchphrase. I mean, it's like the last football game, but I'll find it in the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Mile Ma Sweet Cherry Pie,
That's what
touchdown right there.
That's what Ryan used to say last year all the time. And he never brought me pie. So
I haven't coined my own phrase yet. I'm still searching.
Yours should be the voice cracker.
Oh. No, but that's, well,
It happens.
that's not
That's
a
the trademark.
touchdown phrase. That's a way of life, a moniker. That's as sweet as apple pie. It's a touchdown.
That's right. In all seriousness, I know we have a lot of fun, but I mean, we do pride ourselves on being professional, but it is cool when, we're able to work together and we have such good chemistry that we are able to, bounce off each other's energy. That's one thing that I'm really appreciative of this broadcast between you three.
We better be hanging out when the semester's over.
We'll keep that off the road. Yes, we will hang out.
Yes.
Yes, we will hang out.
Doesn't try to schedule our plans here on the broadcast.
Trying to pull it up so he can
It does not interfere with what we are doing here.
He says,
In no way.
that way next time we say we couldn't make it to his house, he says, hey, remember when there was 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the 9th game of the season?
We have it on record, folks.
We have it on record.
We have it on record.
Overall, let's focus a little bit back more on the game. Gentlemen, what are some things that Moore Park's been doing that's really helped them, at least make some sort of push in the second half here? They played a lot better. Of course, they didn't have a single point in the first half. So they played a lot better. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they have, I think they had 6 points. My bad.
Yes.
They had 6 points in the first half, but scoring 2 touchdowns in the second half as they're going to go for 2 here.
No,
Fuller's going to
they
be
are.
motion in. He's going to be as the crackback as Archibald's going to get it, but he's going to be tackled short. But what
Well-
are some things that they've really executed on?
Putting Trey Johnson in the game. It's actually that. Those words ring so true in terms of the offensive success. He is the greatest offensive weapon.
That Moore Park possesses?
Yes. He's the most accurate passer. He's the most in rhythm in terms of how he leads this offense. I am not aware, and I can't speculate on, whether he will be back next year. I'm not sure of his status.
Also, just a quick clarification for that halftime score, 24-0, Bakersfield up. Moore Park scored 3 touchdowns in the second half. They had a 45-yard passing touchdown on the 9th drive. The 12th drive, they had a 6-yard passing touchdown, and now just on the 14th drive, they had a passing touchdown of 7 yards right there, and it has been them going more towards the pass that's been opening up for them, as they had Troy Smith getting 2 passing touchdowns and then Trey Johnson having 1.
With that being said, Moore Park looking to go for the onside kick, but it's going to be bounced right to number 14 of the Renegades, Randall.
Renegades will take over 1st and 10 from the Raider 49-yard line.
So just 2:09 remaining here in the ball game. Moore Park looking to put up just a couple more, or pardon me, the Renegades looking to just run the ball out and run this clock out ultimately, but Moore Park hungry as ever to get the ball back one more time for one final possession.
One quick note as well is Moore Park, they have missed every point after attempt in this game. They went for 2. They just going for the easy kick. They've missed everything.
Unfortunate on that, but yeah, that's something that they've definitely lacked. Handoff up the middle. It's going to be tackled after a gain of just 5. The Renegades continue to drive the run game down Moore Park's throat as they have no answer, and they haven't had an answer all night.
Pick up a 4, brings up 2nd and 6.
It's going to be a 2nd and 6, a minute 50 remaining as they're just going to run this clock out. Second down and 6 here. Harrington looking to just continue to run the ball. He's going to get the snap and actually hand it off to his running back, Jones. Well, he drags a couple of defenders. Pardon me, that's not Jones. It's actually good to see some backups getting a couple of snaps there. Number 20 on that one, Andrew Diaz.
Look for them to try.
Andrew Diaz, he's actually lined up out here as a 5'10", 200-pound running back. So it seems like all these guys are 200-plus pounds at a shorter stature and are able to cause some havoc and push defenders off of them pretty easily.
So it just needs the Renegades need just one more first down.
I was going to say they need one more first down in order to take a knee and end this game.
Oh, man, good fun up here. Diaz looking for that one first down. He's going to be tackled just short. It's going to be a 4th down now as the game clock is going to be just a little bit faster than the play clock. What? So apparently there was a fumble going on right there. I did not. Okay, they're going crazy.
No wonder the clock was stopped.
I was looking for that. Yeah, too. The game clock and the play clock. Yeah, they were stopped. So Moore Park's going to get one more chance, actually, to put some points up on the board, and maybe I'll come up with my catchphrase.
That's actually, according to my notes here, that is their first turnover of the game, as Moore Park lost 6 fumbles, fumbled the football overall 7 times, and that's the first time that Bakersfield actually turned the football over with 37 seconds left.
So 37 seconds left. Not impossible. We've seen Hail Marys before, but we have not, or I have never seen Moore Park complete a Hail Mary in all of my days of covering these 3 years.
I don't think they're going to go for a Hail Mary. Not down by. Oh, yes, they are.
Would you believe that? They're going for it. And it's actually going to be thrown to the player on the sideline who catches it. But it's going to be incomplete anyway.
Celebrates as if
he got an interception. And what a throw. What a throw. Number 10. Oh, surprise. Harrington with a phenomenal throw.
Harrington got the grab. Well, it's an all-around day for him.
29.9 to be exact seconds remaining in the game. Second down and 10. Reese Smith, Jordan Cuevas down here on the near side. Johnson gets a snap. It's going to be low. It's incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 10.
Mercy, there's 25.6 seconds left. Why are you throwing the football? That is my question here. You would want to, in my opinion, because we're at 25.6, take a knee and use what you've learned in this game to move forward next week.
And that might be something that even Bakersfield offense is wondering, because I don't know if they want to go back out there on the field.
In terms of I can't speculate, but I would wonder if they would see it as disrespectful.
And Morrison's going to go ahead and run this clock out, as there's going to be another whistle blown to stop the play. And that will be the final play that I cover for the Moore Park Raider football team. That's going to go ahead and wrap up the game here, as the final score is going to be 38-18. The Bakersfield Renegades come away with the victory. Pretty phenomenal one-sided victory by the Bakersfield Renegades. But Moore Park did have some fight. Gentlemen, final thoughts before we kick it to postgame.
Well, next week they have to figure out who the heck their quarterback is going to be. Trey Johnson, to me, is the most solid moving forward. If he is eligible to play next season in terms of years he's already been with the team, he's the guy I would use moving forward. That has to be your offensive identity, a strong passing attack complemented by a running game, deep throws moving forward.
One of the biggest things that Moore Park needs to focus on is protection of the football. I mean, this is not just for this last game of the season coming up against East LA, but this is going to be for their future careers. This is going to be for if they're going to the next level. Whatever they do, they need to be able to hold on to the football and get the chemistry down. So just seeing these last few practices, focusing on that will be good.
Yeah, and that's going to go ahead and wrap that up. Both sides have been we're gonna go ahead and be right back, because we have a post-game show coming up. But both sides really did battle it out, but Bakersfield ultimately dominated as they come away with their first victory in conference play. And Moore Park is going to go ahead and fall to 0-5 in conference play. Bakersfield now 1-4. But with that being said, don't go anywhere. We got a post-game show coming up right now, so stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Stewart post-game show presented by Meathead Movers. Tonight's matchup featured the Moore Park Raiders here at home against the Bakersfield Renegades, where the Renegades dominated the game and ultimately came away with the victory. Now, Ryan, I want to start with you first. What are some things that Bakersfield really was able to take control over and was a huge part to why they came away with this victory tonight.
So one of the biggest things was that quarterback change, at least from what they were used to in the beginning of the season, now going to Wet Harrington, number 10. That was one of the biggest things that they could have done. They had a dual threat quarterback who was able to throw the ball. He actually had a really strong arm, but the runs that they had, they just kept handing it off to their guys. Also, the good field position really worked well for them. But just kind of going to what they were used to, 57% of their plays were run plays this season, and that's kind of what they went to. And Bakersfield just had tremendous success with it and just continued to march down the field. And Moore Park didn't really have an answer until the second half.
Something else that they capitalized on was Moore Park's mistakes in terms of their turnovers. At least 6 fumbles in the game, many of which were recovered. It led to points because they were on plus field position for the majority of the game. The punts were short as well, leading to easy scores for the Renegades tonight.
Now, there's just one game remaining here for the Moore Park Raiders, and of course the season has not gone the way that they hoped. I mean, they are now fall to 1-8 in just one game remaining. They are obviously eliminated from bowl contention. But what are some positives that Moore Park can really bring in something that they can kind of start a fire in for just one last week of football for them?
Trey Johnson and Reese Smith, to me, are 2 bright spots on this team in terms of the offensive attack. Reese Smith has almost led the way in terms of receptions and yards and has turned into a star, and Trey Johnson is the most accurate passer of the quarterbacks we've seen, which include Vince James, Isaiah Johnson. So I would look to him moving forward in terms of the leadership role, moving in from this offense in the next week and into the next year if he is eligible to play.
Another bright spot that I also saw with Troy Smith. Troy Smith also, he is basically one of those people. Actually, we're going to switch mics real quickly. But Troy Smith, he's actually one of the better runners as well. He's making some great decisions on the field as well. I mean, even if pressure is coming, he's able to get out of those, big slumps, and he's able to find a wide open man, and he's able to find that little opening down the middle. So that's a guy to be able to watch out for. But one thing that I would like to see is a little bit more Dupree Fuller, a little bit more Eddie and Bata, because those have been some good players, but maybe not getting their chance to shine as much. But we may be seeing that next week at East LA.
Right, and that is a great point. Final chance for them to really shine, especially coming in with just one game left at East LA. Now, guys, as we know, this is going to be our final, or alongside you guys, this will be my final, post game with you. And I just want to go ahead and start by thanking everyone. Of course, I'm coming back for the spring, but I do want to thank everybody that's helped me along the way, from Vance Manikis, Vern Vegso, Ryan. I really want to personally thank you. You've been like a big bro to me. You've been a mentor, but you've also been like a brother to me. So I want to firstly thank you. Justin, you've also been like a brother, like my younger brother. We brought you in last year. Yeah, exactly. And I've learned so much from both of you. I've learned a lot from, I also want to thank Ron Pitts, who's really helped me along the way, from my mom and dad that have really supported me through this journey. Of course, it's not over, but as far as football is, I'm not going to be here next week, so this will be my final football game, as I won't be coming back next year, but I will be coming back next semester. So, guys, I want to thank you both so much for everything you guys have done. You guys are really like my brothers, and I'm so glad we've been able to build this chemistry and create such a phenomenal broadcast.
And we hope to be working with you in the future at some point in time, with whatever it is we will be doing. Our paths will end up crossing somewhere.
That's right.
Definitely one thing that I want to say, I mean, it was just great to be able to have you come along. I had Wyatt that joined me 3 years ago, and then it just didn't work out between us two on the broadcast, and I had to find somebody. So, Nick, I was able to find you, and it was just great to be able to be on this journey with you. So thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming along.
All right, and with that emotional postgame, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Remember, we are going live. I will not be here, but these two gentlemen will be. 5:45 kickoff next Saturday, where Moore Park finishes up the season against East LA. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning into the Moore Park Raiders live stream. My name is Nick Federico, signing off.